Greetings, everyone, all you fine chaps and chapettes out there. Hope you're all having a great day. We've got DJCatCannon with us today. You need to unmute, or let me unmute you. Hold on. Why is it?
There
we go.
There we go. Cheers.
I see you've got yourself a snack. Perfect.
Little ice cream cone. Reminds me of you.
Oh, interesting.
Blender.
So the plan today is we've got some videos set aside that we're going to take a look at. We have not watched. We will do some blind reactions, as usual. We will see what's going on in the world today with some controversies, news, other things. I know there's a more Pegasus video in there, so that's always a treat, especially those who know more Pegasus. Anyway, let's go ahead and we'll start with the
react
first one here.
blindly.
Yes, we're going to start off with a video about Ubisoft.
Made their worst move yet. They are not banning players. They are not shutting down just one game. Instead, they are telling you to destroy your copy of a game if they decide that you are done. You heard that right. Not uninstall, not archive. They want you to delete it permanently because apparently you never owned it to begin with. But what?
So I don't know if you heard about this,
No.
but this is actually something Ubisoft, they did make as part of their terms and conditions, where if they ban you or anything like that, you're supposed to permanently delete the copy of the game or destroy it if it's a physical copy. Because apparently you're not allowed to even own the game anymore.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, is that a fine?
Yeah, who's actually going to do it? It's part of their terms and conditions. How legal that is questionable. But yeah.
If it's not against the law, then I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Delete the game. So buried deep inside Ubisoft's updated license agreement, aka the EULA, it states you must delete and permanently destroy all copies of the game if the license is terminated. Translation: if Ubisoft shuts down a game's servers or bans your account or simply just
or even
ends
shuts
support,
down the server. Wow.
They expect you to destroy the game like it never existed. You've paid for it, but you don't actually own the license. They do. And people are losing it. People are quick to take to Reddit to say things like, so now I rent the games I buy? We had another one that said, Ubisoft's basically saying my hard drive is their property. And another one that said, good luck enforcing that, clowns. And honestly, people have every right to be mad because this clause doesn't just affect online games. It could apply to any title you bought through Ubisoft Connect. Now, because it was emphasized again, just in a total different format, it's like they basically dropped a nuke and just hoped that nobody would read the fine print, except, well, yeah, people did actually read it. Now, why is this a big deal? Let's be real, this isn't about whether they can enforce you to actually click delete. It's about what it says for the future of gaming. Digital games aren't products anymore, they are services. And when that service ends, so does your access, even if you paid full price.
And what I've told you about before, that Stop Killing Games initiative, which that might show up a little bit in something else, but that's something that'll start. I know it's specifically for European Union because we don't have something like that here, but we definitely should have something like that if they can do something like this. But this is Ubisoft, of course. I mean, I've told you before, these are the same people that have been saying, games not owning your games.
That's wild.
This ties into the growing movement against game shutdowns. Campaigns like Stop Killing Games are fighting back, demanding publishers leave some way for fans to still play. Ubisoft's move here? Well, actually, it's just the exact opposite. So what happens if you don't actually delete a game? How would Ubisoft even tackle the hundreds of thousands of people? Well, your access can be revoked because Ubisoft could actually block you from launching the game even if it's installed, and they can do that via a DRM, basically digital rights management, and your Ubisoft Connect account. So even if you keep the files, you might not be able to play the game anymore. And you might be wondering, well, if a game has no always online DRM, can you still play it after the deletion day, even if you are actually violating the EULA? Well, technically yes, but still Ubisoft could later release updates or system checks to actually disable even if those are offline versions. Bottom line,
Wow.
Ubisoft can't reach into your PC and delete your files, but they can prevent you from playing, ban your account, and legally cover themselves by saying, well, you actually agreed to delete it. And Ubisoft's worst move yet isn't just one bad policy. It's about where the entire gaming industry is headed and just how little control we actually have left. So I'm asking you, if Ubisoft told you to delete a game that you paid for, would you actually do it?
Nah, they could suck my dick. No, that's crazy.
No, exactly.
The Book of Enoch.
We would definitely not be doing that. Let me just stop that there. No, I would definitely not be deleting a game that I purchased. I don't think
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
anyone would really, right?
Unless they're
The whole
giving
point
me
of purchasing
money
something.
back, buying the game back or something, like that's the only way
Even then,
I'd find
I
it
mean,
acceptable is if I'm getting some sort of compensation out of that.
I can agree it's a little more acceptable, but even
Like you would
then, I
have to
would
pay
still
me
not.
whatever I paid for that game plus, plus a fee. I'm sure I spent money on the game because there's typically money to spend on games, So
Right. Okay. Oh, I
what is
lied a little
going
bit.
on
2 of these
behind you?
videos are 30 minutes. Behind me?
Yeah, it's just like
Nothing.
random memes.
Oh, yes, yes. I have a bunch of random memes that just play behind me. That's
Wow.
how I set up for when I do when I podcast. It's just to make it a little more visually interesting instead of it just a VTuber on a black screen.
Ah, 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 ah.
Okay, so we're
Next
gonna
video.
go into a little heavy one next. We're gonna go into where we need the truth.
Hmm.
We need to know the truth.
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Is it true, sir, that
As you can see, this is a Baldy video. So Baldy will be giving his viewpoints on these different
Baldy?
things, including, yes, Asmongold.
Yeah, why you call him Baldy?
A lot of people call him Baldy.
He's not bald. He's just got a big forehead.
That's debatable. Anyway, so he might say some things we agree with. He might say some things we disagree with. For the most part, I usually agree with him. Sometimes he does say some really dumb things, though. But we'll see. Usually he's pretty on point, at least lately.
All right.
you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis?
Oh,
I
God.
had hired psychologists to do a psychological profile on Jeffrey Epstein, what type of person he was, and what would actually get under
That's an
his
important
skin.
question.
What
People
made
need to
him
know
tick
that.
was that he was a narcissist. He had
I would have
no
never guessed.
ability to feel empathy
I would have no way.
and saw himself as the master of puppets, so to speak.
No way. Master of puppets.
Sir, one
Well, wait a minute. Oh, apparently that's not true. There aren't any puppets.
witness described
He makes a good point. The DOJ said there were no clients or anything like that, right? That means no puppets. Everything was just for him. You see what I mean? He's pretty on point. But you'll see. He'll sometimes say something stupid. His chat also says some things. You heard what the video said in the beginning, though, where the guy literally asked Epstein, "You have an egg-shaped penis?"
Yes.
Like, what the hell?
They asked him again.
Penis oval
They did it? Oh, yeah, they are asking him again. Oh, God.
shaped, and claim when erect it was thick towards the bottom, but was thin and small towards the head portion.
This is not the truth
and
we
called
needed.
it egg-shaped. Those are not my words. I apologize. But as Mr. Critton has stated, this is a. I'm willing to continue. I hate to call him out. Let me go on. He tries at all times to be the master of his domain
Talk about my big penis.
and in control of his world. As soon as he feels he's out of control, it's unsettling to him.
Complaint filed by Virginia Roberts against you. Isn't it true, sir, that a friend of yours sent you 3 12-year-old females for you to sexually abuse on one of your birthdays?
Form argumentative,
What?
harassing.
Did we hear that correctly? They said
Yeah.
3 12-year-olds?
3 12-year-old females.
Oh, my. So you hear things like this, and then it's like a bunch of people in our government are like, "Oh no, we don't need to pursue this. We don't need to worry about this."
Are
No,
you
these
really
victims
asking about
need
Jeffrey
justice.
Epstein right now in a time like this?
Right. Right. These victims need justice. This is crazy.
With all the crazy stuff
And
going on in Texas, you're really gonna talk about Jeffrey Epstein?
We can talk about both. That's the
Okay.
thing.
Why keep pushing it
This is
away? I wonder. Huh. I wonder.
well, everyone's pushing it away. Except, of course, now some of the Democrats are trying to not push it away, even though they were pushing it away when they were the ones primarily in charge in office and everything. But, it's always just the same back and forth.
Relevant to this
Does
lawsuit.
everybody
But
dip
you say
their
it's part-
hands in the cookie jar, now everybody's trying to cover it up.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been covered up since the investigation first took place, probably even
Yeah.
earlier, since the CIA and FBI or something like that wanted information from him, so they dropped charges previously, as it were.
the lawsuit?
Yeah, I'll read it directly.
It was Jeffrey's birthday one.
On one of defendant Epstein's birthdays, a friend of defendant Epstein sent him 3 12-year-old girls from France
Why is he
who
smiling?
spoke no English for defendant to sexually exploit and abuse. After doing so, they were sent back to France the next day. Isn't that true?
Once again, I'm going to move to strike. Irrelevant, argumentative, harassing.
I would like to answer that question. I really would. However, today, my attorneys have told me I have to assert my Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, and 14th Amendment rights of the U.S. Constitution.
What?
You're invoking your Fifth Amendment rights to each of these questions because you know that your answers will incriminate you and you feel that it will result in you being prosecuted for these crimes. Isn't that right?
Objection, argumentative,
Oh
harassing,
my god.
and
Oh,
calls for a legal
God.
conclusion.
Oh man, yeah, those
Man, he
are
has
right.
some
wasn't a
real
proper
good lawyers.
question,
Yeah,
though,
I guess
but-
so. Right, guys, kill himself. I can't believe this.
Well, no, that one there wasn't a proper question, but all the
That's
other
the
ones were.
thing,
But
bro.
it's the
Lawyer,
same
if you're
answer
at
to
a
all
good
of them.
lawyer, your client could be guilty as hell, and you could get him, bro. It's all in the art of being like a good debater, and knowing
Right.
the laws and knowing the workarounds. It's so crazy.
Right,
When
exactly.
you see some
It's
of these
very
court
insane.
cases, how the lawyers actually like
Well, just look at the
they'll be
Diddy
on it.
case.
They'll be on it anytime there's objection. Like they know every single time that that the lawyer goes out of place or the defendant's lawyer or whatever.
Right.
It's
And like I
crazy.
said, just look at the Diddy case. It's the same
Yeah.
lawyer that Young Thug had. So that's 2 major cases now that he's won. 2 RICO cases that he's won,
Yeah.
basically. Like, that's crazy.
This guy killed himself for being too innocent. That's what
Yes.
happened, bro. Like, he was so innocent, he had to kill himself.
I would give Trump an F in the last month on his handling of the Epstein case.
True.
Everything they've done has created a giant Streisand effect.
True.
Yep.
That said, though, he made a point in a Truth Social post yesterday that the Epstein file has been controlled by the Democrats, and only what they want to be known is going to be in the file, just like Russiagate and all their hoaxes.
Then why didn't they release it?
Right. Right. Why didn't they?
I had always pointed out that they could delete anything they didn't want to be seen, but what about adding things that they wanted to be seen? FBI reports, not any real evidence, but things that spin it. And that's what Trump said yesterday. So
FBI reports aren't anonymous. You could find the individual people that made the reports and ask them directly under oath.
I'm not in the business of being an apologist for Trump. I've been a major critic. But this has to be investigated. This has to be looked at.
Chat said some FBI reports are. That's not true.
Live stream.
What'd you say?
His chat had said some FBI reports aren't anonymous.
Some
are anonymous.
aren't. Some are anonymous, yes. But it's
no. If you file
usually
a report, you have to give
you gotta,
information. You can't file you can't file a report without any information.
If it's internal, if it's an internal investigative FBI report, there is a possibility that they can do it anonymous. It is supposed to be non-anonymous, but there is still a possibility. Remember how they've been running these things for the past however many years.
There's
That's
nothing
the problem.
supposed to be anonymous about it. It all is required to have a complaint.
You're thinking of regular police reports.
Any reports, FBI reports or police reports. You can't just write an FBI report without having a person there, like a person's name to report it.
They actually have released reports that have done exactly that.
No.
Yes.
Maybe they've redacted.
No.
That's different.
Redaction is different. Alex Jones is very hyperbolic. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his rants or videos. He's very hyperbolic.
That guy right there?
Yes.
Old guy? No.
Sometimes he knows what he's talking about. Well, he's the one that had what was it? InfoWars, I think it was. He wasn't always bald. He's the one where he's famous for that quote, "They're turning the frogs gay." Yeah. Which he wasn't wrong about that. It's just, again, he's very hyperbolic in how he says things.
He's got a reason.
Earlier
right
today that is very, very important. We're going to be going over more. And I want to respond to how Trump has fumbled this, but also want to respond to how I think he should handle it, all coming up here today. But this is a big deal. As Bannon said, we could lose 40 seats in the House with this fiasco. This continues.
Shouldn't have done it.
Because unlike the Democrats, we
shouldn't have done it.
And we don't become complicit in cover-ups. But is there a cover-up? What's happening? We're going to figure it all out together as we war game every single angle of it. Be sure to follow me on the next Alex Jones. Be sure to watch the live stream I just did because it's so incredibly important.
I like the way he talks.
Well, like I said, he's very hyperbolic in how he makes his claims and everything like that. That's kind of how he drew his following the way he did.
I do. I think
he also sounds like he's choking on cigarettes.
Yeah, he has a very raspy voice.
I think he's trying to figure out a way that it wasn't Trump. I think the fact is that I don't see the logic that all these FBI reports that happen. It's not like this Epstein shit happened 100 years ago or 50 years ago, with MLK or JFK. A lot of the people that were probably involved in it are still alive. Let's go back.
the majority of people that were involved in it are probably still alive. Like, it wasn't that long ago that this all happened. I mean, I'm sure some people are dead, but, like the older people. There was also,
And whistleblowers.
right, there was also the ex-Israeli prime minister and everything that was photographed going to Epstein's house while he
Hmm.
was trying to keep his face hidden. So, I mean, there's definitely some prominent people as well.
Yeah.
See if I can find a few more of these posts here because I've missed
Presidents,
out on a lot of them.
celebrities.
Because there's been a whole lot going
Mhm.
on. Oh, here we go. Here
Like,
we go.
same thing with these Diddy parties.
Right.
Like
Is there
some really big
First of all-
people were at them, because they
Oh,
like
yeah.
getting
We
freaky.
know. We know. It might have been more than just getting freaky, but there was definitely
Mhm. A lot of it's getting
yeah.
freaky.
Well, obviously, I can't violate attorney-client privilege. However, I can tell you my experience as a prosecutor and as a defense attorney for 3 decades. I have no client that has ever kept a written log of all the crimes that they've committed or anyone they've committed them with or anyone around them has committed.
Then how did you find out who they were working with?
So this is where he gets a little stupid in thinking most high profile criminals don't usually keep like a full log, like sorted log, like what he's stating here, but there
Yeah.
is always evidence and a paper trail that they
Yeah.
keep. There is always documents and things leading up to who they worked with, what they did, everything.
Hmm.
Then how do you find accomplices? Baldy is making up. Shut up, Baldy. Like, also, by the way,
Yeah,
I've
he's
been
balder
thinking
than
about this
Asman.
theory a
That
little bit
too.
more often, and I'm curious to hear what your opinion is on it.
I want to know what this theory
Maybe
is.
there isn't an Epstein list made by Epstein. Maybe the Epstein list was. Do you remember how they said that Epstein could have unwillingly been an intelligence asset? What if the Epstein list
true.
was actually compiled by a foreign power?
Now, you see, if it was a foreign power that compiled it, then I could see it being an actual sorted list.
Hmm.
And Epstein just kind of either let it happen, didn't care that it
Maybe it's just a
happened,
guest book.
or didn't know that it was happening.
Right.
Which country? No idea.
Because you can't answer that question without getting backlash. You know which country, right? We've talked about it. You there?
Yeah.
Oh. You heard me, right? You know which country it is, right?
Country. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even a guess. I don't even have a single guess.
It just doesn't happen. So for someone as intelligent, somehow or another, Jeffrey Epstein made a lot of money.
How did he
So
make
there's
the
got to
money?
be a degree of intelligence there. I don't think
Not necessarily. I mean, yes, in a way, but no.
he's committing crimes. I don't think he's putting a list together, and I don't think there's a list that exists. And look, let's face it. You want me to put the cards on the table? Ghislaine Maxwell's 20 years in prison. She's the only person who was even charged. She was never even mentioned when they first charged Jeffrey Epstein. But once he's dead, well, now what are they going to do? They spent millions of dollars on this whole investigation. All of a sudden, for the first time after he's dead, her name comes up. They charge her. They throw everything they have on her. If she had something, look, Sammy the Bull Gravato testified against John Gotti and put the biggest mobster in jail ever. If there was something that was there that could save someone's life, I think that person would take it into consideration. But maybe.
So you're making an appeal to moral authority for a person that was put in jail for 20 years for child sex trafficking?
Yeah, that's a bit of an odd argument there.
Are you kidding me? Baldy really doesn't know what the hell he's doing, man. He doesn't know what the fuck.
The less bald person
He
is
doesn't
more
know
correct
what the
about
fuck.
the
This
balder
is
person right
crazy.
now.
There's nothing there, and a
Kingpin is
podcaster
lying.
at the time.
What?
Somebody in the chat said Kingpin is lying.
Kingpin is lying. Yeah. Yeah, he does look like
Motherfucker
Kingpin.
does
He
look like
does have
Kingpin.
he does have reminisced that very much.
Made a big deal and made a huge name for himself by making assumptions that just weren't accurate.
My issue.
Man, shut the fuck up. Man, shut the fuck up. Like, can you please explain why they won't release the list after talking about it for so long?
Right.
I don't know why they won't. Which pod?
Gee, I wonder which country would make it very difficult for them to release a list like that.
Caster? I don't know. Probably talking about Joe Rogan, right? I mean, like he who will not be named, right? They don't want to say his name because it gives him power. I don't know. Maybe it could be Dan Bongino himself, and so Alex Jones. Yeah, it could be that too. And so it won't release the list because it's tied to alien abductions. Okay.
What? What? Okay, now that is a theory. Could you imagine that? Alien abductions, right? Oh, jeez.
Arians.
No, if there's no evidence to charge anyone, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? Because she was the one that
crazy
trafficked
amount of
Jeffrey Epstein.
sightings lately for UFOs. So, it's likely now.
Really? Maybe we'll have to look into that and see if there's any
my God,
videos or stories
there's
about
been
that
a
we can pull
stupid
up.
amount. Stupid amount. I mean, obviously, now that people, have phones, it's a lot more common for you to be able to record something. But also some of these things, like you're like, oh, maybe it's drones, but then you see it and you're like, oh, that's not, there's no possible way. And then you get it from like several different angles that other people recorded as well. It's kind of crazy.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. So we'll that might have to be our the next time we do a reaction episode together.
I mean, it's selfish to think that we're the only things in this universe,
Oh, of course. Of course. I've actually had some theories that I had a theory that I thought started thinking of because of after hearing about the theory of our universe possibly being in a black hole. I started looking into different things about it, came up with a little pseudo theory with the help of the AI chatbot bouncing ideas off of it, and had it put together an abstract for me after we put some ideas together. Basically, it's a theory that the possibility of while we are in a black hole, everything is basically an echo of the universe. There's also a theory out there that we're all a singular consciousness or a singular aspect of the universe just split up into different beings and different components. So there's a lot of interesting things out there. However, with the help of and Grok has actually been really great as an AI since the update. We'll see how well it sticks though. But with the help of Grok, it actually helped come up with ways to test the theory itself. I'm not sure if it's a way that I would be able to test because it sounds much more scientific than what the average person can do. But yeah, we'll definitely pull up some stuff about that and look into that stuff as well. Go over that stuff because that's always been interesting subjects, especially if we can get into the black hole theory stuff as well and all that as well. And they have discovered more planets and everything. We can talk about those.
Good line of argumentation. And anyway, let's see here where the rest of this. Arguably the most let them eat cake. No criminal ever keeps a written record of their own crimes. That is the entire basis of blackmail. Yeah.
Right. Well, he wasn't. So the lawyer wasn't saying that specifically. He was just saying that there wasn't a specific, like, sorted list the way he was saying it. Because, like we said, criminals always keep records of their crimes. So and like he said there, that's they mostly do it for blackmail purposes.
This is insane. Like, obviously people do this. And also, just because they don't keep a written record where they say, oh, on this Tuesday we did this thing, it doesn't
Okay,
mean
there
that
he
you can't
goes.
corroborate that. Like, how do you find accomplices with any crime? Do you find them in a list? No. You look at corroborating evidence and you make a conclusion based off of that. What a bunch of fucking bullshit. What a lying baldy. This is amazing. I can't believe this. Oh my God. They keep a video record, not a written record? Yes. This is so dumb.
Well, they keep
Hitler is
something.
on the
Yes,
list? You think
video
so?
record
Maybe
would
you're
make
right.
sense though too.
Let's
Especially
see
with
if I
all
can
the
find this here.
like all the cameras and everything in Epstein's house, all of his properties, all of them were wired to shit. Yeah, we know he has videos and everything.
But here's another one.
Mm.
I tell you, I know for a fact documents are being
Yep.
suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why the.
So
Yep.
why is this guy not being brought in front of Congress to testify of what this is under oath? Why is it that he said this and now he can't say legally? He didn't attorney-client privilege.
I don't know
being
about
suppressed.
that.
I know who's suppressing them, but I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being.
Yeah, his client's dead, right? I mean,
Oh, this is Epstein's lawyer. This is Alan
Yeah.
Dershowitz. This is the guy who literally defended him and everything. So he would know if there's stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he was Epstein's lawyer.
But it's very weird he's saying he can't disclose it because attorney-client privilege, doesn't that end when a client dies?
I think so. I don't really
So if
know.
he can't disclose it, the only reason he wouldn't be able to disclose it right now would mean his client's not dead.
Maybe he
Which that would
visited
be
himself
another can of worms. If you know those theories as well, that Epstein's actually still alive.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
Right? It's interesting to think about. But it's also actually plausible.
What the fuck?
Being suppressed in order to protect them, and that's wrong.
Just out of curiosity, without names, are these politicians, business leaders?
He's going to say all the above.
They're everything.
Yes.
And let me tell you, a lot of them are, at least one of them is somebody who was accused. Others are accusers. And the judges have said, if somebody calls themselves a victim, we're not going to give any information about them, but they may not be victims.
Two different judges won't allow the information to be released.
You
tell me the president can't figure that out? You tell him.
No, he can't, because if he does the same type of issues of what he's been trying of declassification or anything, or if he does try and push for declassification, it'll just go through the same review process. That's the problem people don't understand about it, is the only thing you can force through is a full public dump, which would bypass review and redaction, because otherwise every other process goes through review and redaction, right? And which means if they release something after review and redaction, we can just get the exact same information we got now with the exact same redacted information. If they do a full public dump, that bypasses that, but then now they're publishing CSAB material. You see where it becomes an issue?
Yeah.
And they're also publishing victim information. So this is why it's a very difficult situation of what to do. Although it's kind of getting to the point where honestly it just needs to be dumped because this is getting beyond ridiculous with all the cover up, all the story changing.
On me, they can't figure that out. They control all three branches of government, but they can't figure out how to get this information.
Now, and if it's an issue of they can't get the information, that's where we know it's for sure some foreign intelligence and everything or government power taking over and stepping in. And of course, who would have the power when you look at the money of, APAC?
I just, bro, I don't think I believe that. I really just don't think I believe that, bro. Like,
They may be perpetrators. So we don't have information about false accusers. And we know there have been many false accusers who have accused innocent people for money. And those records are being deliberately, willfully suppressed. And they shouldn't be suppressed. If the accusation is allowed out, so should the material that diminishes the credibility of the accuser. We want total transparency on this.
Yes.
Every single document, no redaction.
That's right.
That's what I've said from day one. I waive
for the
any
young
of my
victims,
rights to privacy.
yeah.
Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory. Because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people, but I was falsely accused and I was able to prove it. And I was able to prove it through documents. And I want other people to be able to disprove false accusations through documents. But these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
I just, bro, like I'm saying, he says the judge muzzled him.
Yes.
So what happens if he just does it anyway?
Legal
At
troubles.
a certain point, you
Straight to
are
jail.
fucking 80 something years old. Just fucking do it anyway, man. Jail?
But that's a question of, would you want to spend your last years in some place like jail? Even if it means you're blowing a huge lid on I mean, you're going to be suffering. He's like he said, he's 80 something, right? That's a tough one. That's a bit of a tough one. I mean, I do agree. Things that, it needs to come out. But putting it all on just him, that's a bit of a tough one there.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about it. If you were in that position, would you do it yourself? Not unless you had some kind of backup, support, everything in place type of thing, right? I mean, yeah.
No, I don't believe it. Nope. I don't believe his life would be in danger. Is bullshit. Why are you not accepting that the idea Trump threatened to close the file? Why is it our view to understand it? It's simple. They tried 4 times and almost got him 1 time. Trump isn't invincible. Trump's human. What if they threatened his family? Because of the guy in El Salvador. Do you really think that the guy in El Salvador didn't receive more threats than Trump did? He was going up against some of the most bloodthirsty gangs in the entire world, and he put all of them in jail.
That's true.
If somebody's threatening the president of the United States, then maybe he should just have them killed. Problem solved. So if Trump, really, I mean, I thought Trump, the entire idea, I thought to myself, finally, I was like, Trump is an absolute fucking unhinged psycho. Thank God. I'm going to, we're going to hopefully elect him, and then maybe something can get done. What the fuck? And I was
okay. So we'll be fair. Trump has gotten a lot done. He's made a few fumbles as well. This is going to be a huge enough fumble, though, to mess with future election midterms, all that. How the administration doesn't seem to get that is beyond me. But as you can see, Baldy here is looking at it very black and white, very oversimplified. Because like we discussed, there's a lot behind especially when it comes to our government processes and everything, to getting information and releasing information and all that stuff. But again, of course, it could also just be like we said, if a certain country is putting a stop to it, what are we really going to do? I see he ditched us.
What?
Oh, no, you're still there. Okay. Why do you have your why do you
What?
have your why do you have your whatever screen going on?
It's no, just where I'm at right now.
Got you. So you went into the cyberspace.
Yes, sir.
Like, okay, now he's going to bomb Iran in the middle of the night? Yes! Great! This is what I was hoping for. Trump runs the country. Yes, it's insane, man. He let the Ayatollah live? Well, maybe, there's a bigger reason for that. Who's we? You didn't elect shit. Yeah. I voted for him the first time. And hey, by the way, you voted for him? How'd that working out? I fucking idiot. Suck my dick. Oh, yeah, you voted for him? Good job, dumbass. Good job, stupid. How about that? Deep state runs the country? No, it doesn't. The military runs the country. I tell you right now, the people that run the country are the fucking military because they're the ones with the guns. And if you go over and you put a gun at somebody and you kill them,
It's very
now
oversimplified.
they're dead and you're not. That is the ultimate justice. Those are the people that run everything. Who runs the military? The president does. The president is the commander in chief.
Yeah, he's really lacking on this one here, on this take. This one's not too good. When you're looking at things simply, then I guess you could say he's not wrong, but again, that's very oversimplified.
That is what matters. Some sort of fucking complex bureaucracy. They don't run shit. Monopoly on
That's not true
violence?
at all.
Yeah, that's crazy. You really don't get it? Oh, right. Oh, I don't get it. Uh-huh. Sure. I think that you're not creative enough. Cartels and mafia around the world for all the money. Tell that to El Salvador. And that guy's doing just fine. That's a bit crass of a take, but I get it. Yes. President has no power? Nope. I don't think so at all. I don't think so. And that's why blackmail is powerful.
No, president
Well, then kill the
definitely
people that
has
are blackmailing
power.
you. You're the president. If you can't kill people that are blackmailing you as the president, I don't want you to be the president.
Okay.
Straight up. If you can't figure out a way to kill him, Bill Clinton did that. It's a high score take.
Holy shit.
What do you think every single powerful leader has done in the history of humankind? What do you think that they did?
Lead?
What do you? Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, fight war. Yeah, exactly. It's not a high score take.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
sure there are plenty of leaders powerful leaders that didn't go around just killing everyone, though.
I think you're wrong about this. Dead man switch,
Again.
bro. Bullshit. Oh, bullshit. And yeah, they had some Clintons on their side. Yeah, it's a
Oversimplifying.
real world, actually. It doesn't make it right. I think it does. Destroy your enemies. Yeah, you have to. Strength conquers weakness. The privileged will never understand that. Yeah. And yeah, Wade Asman went to high school. Yeah, unfortunately, they were fucking high schools. I guess so. You aren't black-pilled enough to know who runs the military. The person who runs the military is the person who can tell the military what to do.
So, is he forgetting all the contractors like Vanguard and BlackRock and everything that basically tell the military what to do?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? He's looking at this at a too pure of a black and white lens instead of thinking critically about this on this aspect.
That's it. That's the bottom line. People like to imagine power is this abstract concept. Power is the ability to execute violence against somebody with no restraint. That's real
What?
power. Everything
No,
else
it's
besides that is working
That's an
under that
aspect
direction
of power.
or working under that directive. If you can kill somebody, you have power over them. Period.
Oh my God.
There is no greater power than that. And so I don't want to hear about some deep state bullshit, some blackmail bullshit. Nope. Doesn't work. And again, I think El Salvador disproves all of that.
And like someone in his chat said, power versus authority. There's two different aspects here, and he's completely ignoring one of them.
And so is Bill Clinton. Look at him. Anyway, let's see here. Victor's right. History? Absolutely. And yeah, it also accidents on a corner. I thought the president authority as well. Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. The president's just a client to the military? Not if they do what he says. Actually, it's the power to get someone to get someone to kill others for you. Yeah, definitely. And bro's pretending like he doesn't know. No restraint isn't power because you need restraint or you'll destroy yourself. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you guys. I think that a lot of people. This is what I think is really sad. I think a lot of people have been lulled into this idea that the people that you elect into power don't have any power. I think this is a learned helplessness that is pushed forward by conspiracy theorists, and it is an active psyop to make you expect that the people that you elect that have the power to make change don't actually have the power. And it is a collective learned helplessness that enables them to continue doing bad things while simultaneously having you make excuses for them not doing what you want them to do.
Again, very oversimplified. So, in general, he is correct. So, and I've said it many times that even with the president and everything, it's not that they don't have power. There are processes and hoops you have to go through to do things properly. Otherwise, you start getting into the way of, oh, look what happened with Nazi Germany. Because you want to talk about power, having the ability to kill someone. Oh, well, there you go. There's Hitler. Right?
Mhm.
You see what I mean? Why it's not good to take it to such an extreme of black and white. You have to actually see the nuance in between to understand and realize, of course, the difference with power and authority. And some of these people in his chat do understand this, and they're trying to get it through him. But as you can see, Asmon's a little thick-headed sometimes. But he's usually on point, as you've seen for the most part.
I think it's bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Lots and lots of questions that have been swirling about Jeffrey Epstein for a long time, for over 10 years, and the government's involvement in it. If there's anybody who could walk in and say, okay, we've resolved all of the questions and there is nothing here, it would be President Trump and his crew. The problem is you can't really do it without giving some explanation. And there has to be some explanation. And I think that's why you have a lot of people still pretty with a lot of very valid questions about it.
You absolutely nailed it. You can defuse this ticking time bomb if you simply get out there, sit down, the AG, get the deputy director, and get the director.
This is not going to go away.
No, it's not.
It's not going to go away. It's not. People not going to be like, you know what? I'm tired. This is not going to go away.
We will get a few people that'll, because there are still some of like super loyalist people to Trump that no matter what is going on, they're still like taking his side basically. And there are, you might have seen like it's a bit of a coordinated effort at times to talk about everything else, but no, the majority of people are not going to let this go.
Put them in front of cameras, have them make a statement, and have them answer questions. We're only talking about 5 or 10 questions. But what this will do is, first of all, restores confidence. Number 2, it answers some of the basics, especially the simple things like, you can't tell me that 1,000 people were hurt and that there are no people out there that we can arrest. You can't tell me that, sorry, we don't have a list. Fine. Don't have
fucking based. So fucking based. Exactly. Like this, it's such bullshit, man. Absolutely. Why did our parents teach us that good always wins? Well, this story isn't over yet, number one.
I don't think
and
parents
also,
taught us that
because
most of the
that's
time.
not true.
That's a lot of stories that would teach us that.
It's not done yet. This isn't the end of it.
Well, that's true. It isn't.
Have a list. Tell me who the perpetrators were. Let's depose every single person who might have had a chance to get on that list.
Even Fox
and
is saying
might have
this?
been out there
Yeah.
at that island. And let's talk to them. Let's find out what happened. You're telling me there's videos out there in New Mexico and at the island and in New York, and nobody saw anything? I don't buy it. And that's why they need to get out there and
fuck yes, bro. This is exactly the way that I feel. 100 fucking %. This is how I feel.
face the fire. Doesn't have to be long, but you have to answer questions to the American people, because absent that, the story won't die, and that's a distraction the president doesn't want.
Of course, and in that True Social that he put out, he talked about all his accomplishments.
Yeah,
and he's saying, why let's not let this overcome. And I think he doesn't want that. I think his supporters don't want that. And I think that's why they want.
No, this is the one thing that people want more than anything else. This is the one thing.
This is literally the one thing.
If you're okay with the
people on
cover-up
both
and not
sides
impeaching
want
Trump, you
more
should be
than anything
investigated.
else.
Well, I don't know about like impeaching him, right? Like, I don't know why the cover-up is happening right now.
Right.
Like, I mean, obviously, like, I like, is there a chance he should be impeached over this? Yeah, maybe. But like, I just don't think, like, I feel like that's a little bit too, like, that's too soon.
Too soon to make that suggestion without knowing everything.
And of course, he's right about that. I mean,
There's no question.
None of this mars any of the extraordinary accomplishments, and we want to keep going.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, he's defending pedophiles. There's absolutely no reason it justifies that. I could see reasons why you would do it, right? And I get it, but at the same time, oh God, oh geez, this is. Here we go. Well, let's look at a few more of these. Let me go back and it's relevant though. What justification there is there? So, if the justification would be that the information wasn't fully complete, or it wasn't fully verified, or we had people that weren't complying, or because it was partially held by a foreign government that wasn't cooperating, I think that there could be a lot of explanations for why it hasn't come out yet that could make sense. And those are just the first 3 that I could come up with right off the top of my head that would kind of make sense. But that doesn't mean that it's okay.
Right. Exactly.
By admitting that the Epstein files are real and have been written, and that you've read them and you don't like their contents and they were written by your enemies, doesn't make...
That's actually a really good fucking point. Why are we giving publicity to files? I thought there weren't any files.
Uh-oh, looks like they got him there. That is actually a good thing that they are pointing out. If there are no files or anything, why are we saying there are? Someone in the chat only PDF files.
It doesn't make the most compelling case.
Doesn't make any type of compelling case at all.
Bro, like,
as far as I'm concerned. Holy moly.
Holy moly is right. That's it. Can't even keep his own story consistent. Blaming Obama. Yeah, I know. And the last arrest of Epstein was after Obama was president. Yeah, it was 2007, right?
You're in an uproar off the Epstein list. That's all you've got. It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm giving.
I mean, it's Sunday. It's Sunday, and I still care.
Yep.
Fuck that. I still care, and it's Sunday.
go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I can give a damn about the client.
I don't know. Why is he trying to sweep, bro? Like, why
Yeah.
would you try and sweep for this? Like, I don't even
That's really
understand.
weird.
Like, I get that, like, you might not care about it, but, like, is it stupid that other people care about? Like, why?
Client list. This has no effect on me whatsoever. I have a life. I don't understand for the life of me why this matters so much to these. I'm talking about people losing it. They're crying on camera. They're talking about resignations. They're pissed
absolutely. 100%.
off about everything. I'm like, really? With all the stuff going on in this country, with all the power that you possess because of the cash and the influence you have because of your connection to this administration, that's why you upset at Trump?
Yeah, because people think he's protecting a global elite pedophile network. I feel like that's kind of a pretty big one. Like, I would say that is probably like a pretty good, like, I would say of all the reasons, if you were to think of a lot of reasons, I would say that this is a pretty big reason. It is. It's a pretty big reason.
Yeah, I can't even deny that
And also,
myself.
by the way, here's another thing. He said he was going to do it. What about the fact that he said he was going to do it? And
he said he might do that. He said not so much. If you go back to that interview, at least the Fox one. But he has been basically hyping it up and hinting that he was going to actually do it.
How he did. What's going on with that?
Trump one bit for looking at them and saying, really? That really matters to you? That's really that important? Now, maybe
Yep, it is.
he had a different reason for saying it, trying to be evasive or whatever. I don't know. But I do know this. In the grand scheme of things, it ain't going to affect the lives of over 200 to 300 million Americans.
It can. And so here's the reason why it can.
Right.
If there's a list and if there is a clientele group that I think is known among high echelons of government and power structures, that list and that information can be weaponized in order to compel people to behave in certain ways that could be against the interests of those 100, 200, 300 million people.
Right, exactly.
So it's not about what the list is fundamentally. Of course, the list is fucking nothing fundamentally, but the problem is what the list implies. It's what the list does. It's what you can do with the list. This is like saying that a bullet doesn't have any power. Well, yeah, you're right. But what if you have a gun? Oh, a gun doesn't have any power. Like, well, yeah, but if you have a bullet, it does. You can't say a gun or a bullet are not dangerous just because they're not combined at the exact time. It's just like I don't know why would
that was a really good
why
way
would
of phrasing
say
that
this
argument.
shit? Like this shit's making an appeal to triviality. Yeah, if it's
Yes.
yeah, that's another thing. I hate the appeal to triviality is the most intellectually dishonest thing that somebody can do.
It's
If
one
it
of the most
doesn't matter
intellectually
so
dishonest
much,
things somebody can
then
do.
why not put it out? If nobody gives a shit this much, then why not put it out? If it's not going to affect anyone, then why not put it out?
Yeah, he actually made a better argument for them
opinion
to
on this
put
is
it
irrelevant.
out.
Guys, I'm going to be honest.
Stephen
Trump
A.
is a
Smith
real
likes to
estate
talk
agent.
politics every so often.
What the fuck did J.D. Vance do? Most of the people that are involved in most things, it's not like you need to have a degree in this, bro. Like they just show up, bro. Yeah, they just show up.
I think we'll be just fine without knowing whether or not there was really a client list.
yeah.
I think we'll be okay. It's unbelievable that this is a big deal to me. It really is.
Yeah, exactly right. And people want to see the lists that aren't on it. Yeah, absolutely. And so I think, bro, I can't believe he's doing this. He's saying this bullshit, man. That's dumb as fuck, man. Here we go. Another one right here.
Agree with a special prosecutor has to be an independent special prosecutor has to take over. Do you believe that DOJ and FBI right now, with the guys who are all close to Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, do you think they have any credibility left to pursue this?
No, and I'll tell you exactly why, Steve, because
damn,
in 2016, we trusted the plan with Trump. But now Trump has become the deep state. The exact thing we voted him in.
Why do you say he's become the deep
Yep.
state?
What is more deep state than covering up for pedophiles? Why would you go to that island?
God damn.
Yes.
Just laying it all out there. Just,
Why? Tell me, why would you go to
unzipping
that
those
island?
pants,
Why would you go
popping
on the
that dick
plane?
out.
Agree with
Yeah, he's like, well, that's a good question. Why would you be there? There it is. And yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is. They're competent enough to know that? I know. It's embarrassing, man. And yeah, why the fuck would you go to that island? Yeah, sir, we want Clinton. I got to
And we
say this. I
actually have
dislike
a
you.
list
Mostly
of
do a
people that
crappy
did go
gossip.
to
I
the
clicked your
island.
stream 10 minutes ago. I must say, you're not stupid and base for sure. I got to respect, though. Yeah, welcome to everybody else. Most people that have discovered my stream they've come into my stream and they were like, this is that racist guy from Twitter that wants to kill all the minorities. And then they're watching, they're like, oh, this doesn't seem that bad. Okay, yeah, we can watch this guy. He's all right. And that's it. That's how it happens. Yep. Most of my viewers begin by being haters. That's it. I'm very used to this. And oh yeah,
I began by being a critic.
oh,
not
let me
a
go
hater.
back. We'll watch a few more of these here.
First of all, it should have come out a long time ago. Professor Dershowitz
Oh,
wanted
jeez.
it out. And by the way, he is one of the best attorneys in this country. I
That
know
was
him.
that was
I know
old
his
Baldy
wife.
that we were
That's
looking
a
at
great
earlier.
family, and they've been dragged through hell on this. I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so
I agree.
unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
Man, that's crazy. I'm literally out of bruh moments. I think I am too.
Yeah, it's hard to not be out of bruh moments after things like that. Oh. All right, give me 1 second. I need to step away because this dog is making a lot of noise.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. It looks like we're going to be taking a short intermission here. Let me DJCatCannon is going to get himself a bite to eat, and we will be just taking a. Let me see here. I guess we can just do this one. Nope, that one's awful. So we'll do this one. Just so we have a screen set up, so not just looking at us doing nothing. But we'll be back shortly. You all just get yourself a snack, a drink, whatever you need. come back shortly. Give us a couple minutes. Okay, well, I am back. DJCatCannon is going to be away for a bit here. So he went to go get a full bite to eat. He's going to be making food and everything. So we're going to we're going to be doing solo until he returns. Or until we get to the end of the stream. Whichever. Alright, so let us see here. The next one we've got. Next one, we're going to do more Pegasus. And let me. I guess that is one thing that is kind of annoying, is I don't have a way of. There's no, like, I guess, backstage type of thing. That's fine. All right. It's our buddy More Pegasus. Let's
welcome back to
So this is going to probably be about the Hassan Orbiter stuff. If you haven't known about that, they're getting sued for reacting to Ethan's content nuke, but not just for reacting. It's because of what they did and trying to make it where people wouldn't go and watch Ethan's videos directly to get any type of monetization or anything like that. Stealing views,
A series so spellbinding, even Harry Potter subscribed.
Oh,
In
geez.
today's video, Hassan is now denying lying about Asmongold and says that Asmon actually lies about him. He's also called out Nux Taku and calls him an Israeli lolly lover, implying that he's a PDF file. Out of nowhere.
Which is just wild because, as we've seen in the lolicon community, the majority of people actually are very against any type of pedophilic content or pedophiles. We even have a bunch of lolicons that had helped put pedophiles away. And there's a whole archive that we keep about that. Hassan, of course, yeah, he's just always lying about not just Asmon, about pretty much everyone. It's just bad.
Where Ice Poseidon has now called out Hassan, Baldus streamer Tectone has shown his veteran brother
Baldus
the
streamer.
viral clip of Frogan saying that soldiers should get PTSD. Updates from
Oh,
Queen
jeez.
of all incels, Caseytron. Ethan's never-ending beef with simp journalist Taylor Lorenz continues. Subscribe,
God.
we are so close to 700k. Thank you, Ludwig, for your contributions.
Let's up those numbers!
Now let's begin with this tweet. Hassan denies making things up about Asmongold, points to his AI thumbnails, also calls out Nux Taku.
I mean, can you imagine what it would be like if you just had people on the internet that would just make stuff up about you with no basis and just fucking put it out there and just say random shit with no evidence?
Wait, that's so crazy because, like, I think he literally has been abusing, he's been spamming, like, AI thumbnails recently, too. And, like, he makes it, I saw, like, one thumbnail.
Asman actually doesn't use AI thumbnails at all, which is funny. It's literally just like a clip from his video. I mean, maybe there's some AI editing in some of them, like the one where it's Hassan with his like mouth wide open, but it's not even Asman that does it, it's his editors. But even so, that's not a bad use of AI. We can get into the whole ethical use of AI stuff if we really want to one day.
Nail that popped up on my fucking For You page on my YouTube, and it gave me a jump scare. It was me like holding a gun, and it was like on the other side, it was like Ludwig, I think. So I don't know what he was implying. I think he was like implying that I'm like killing Ludwig or something. I don't know what. Like at this point,
That's not what it was. I remember seeing it. It was just about when he pulled a gun out on stream to threaten one of his viewers.
at this point, like the lore crafting is so is so out
But
of
it's like
pocket.
it's all like it's like this weird mirroring thing too, where he's like criticizing you, but like in the process describing himself like perfectly. Yeah. Imagine being a guy who doesn't know anything and tells lies on the internet all the time.
Okay, can somebody in the audience tell me who is this
That's
guy?
ironic.
Literally who? Buddy, just hop off his shalong, man. It is crazy how much absolute dick sucking is just going on here. I told you, there's a waiting list for that shit. You gotta get past iDubbbz. You gotta get past Dan Clancy. You gotta get past the Hassan Orbiters. My God, get in line. Also, if it wasn't obvious already, the hypocrisy is so insane, bro. Hassan will constantly lie and twist stories to fit his agenda, and he's out here calling other people out. And then his two yes man minions there going like, Hassan, you're so cool, bro. Absolutely pathetic. Now let's take a look at what Hassan was talking about. Basically, he's talking about this video posted on Asmongold's clip channel. Now keep in mind that Asmongold doesn't really run this channel. It's his editor who takes care of everything here. So if we look at the thumbnail here, Hassan is pointing a gun at the camera, and then we got Ludwig here. It kind of looks like Hassan is, going after Ludwig here. Now, is this AI? Yeah,
That's not
probably.
even-
Is this clickbait? Yeah, probably 100%. But is it very far from the truth? Hassan did wave around a gun, so it's not that crazy to, change the position of a gun a little bit. Now, he's also known to absolutely dog walk Ludwig and make him delete videos and apologize to him. So I feel like this is more of a metaphor, really. Pretty much everybody knows that this is clickbait and is a joke. Nobody actually looks at this and goes, well, is Hassan about to kill Ludwig? Did he aim a gun at Ludwig? Only the most lobotomized fan would ever think that. Now, the question remains, should he actually be doing this? Probably not, but, that's kind of the game on YouTube, a little bit of clickbait here and there. I would know nothing about that, obviously. I've never clickbaited in my entire life. But I just find it interesting. He's out here pearl clutching over
Never.
this, right?
course.
As if he isn't this massive hypocrite who actually spreads lies about him constantly. He even says Asmongold's favorite YouTuber is Rev, which is not, by the way, and he calls him a lovely, loving, essential PDF file, says that he killed his mom. Those are like actual things he says and spreads to his audience. When Asmongold's audience looks at this thumbnail, nobody's clicking on this thinking that Hassan killed Ludwig. It's just not even in the same universe. Hassan is actually presenting these things as actual facts. Meanwhile, it's obvious Asmongold and his editor are memeing here. Now, in this next part, he calls out Nux, the other guy with a Hassan series.
And whose statements are really scrutinized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me.
Like there's one content creator who's like a lolicon like drawn children enjoyer, and he's like a VTuber, he's like a cartoon character, right? And he's also, I think, like now living in Israel, but he wasn't before. He moved to Israel, I think, like after October 7. Like one of his immediate family members, I think, like might have died. Not on October 7. Not entirely sure about what happened, but anyway, he went like full fucking crazy mode.
Right.
Don't
So
even get
crazy mode is literally just correcting the lies you spread on a daily basis. Now, this is nothing new. Hassan has gone after Nux before. He called him an Israel
he
dick
did.
rider. He said Israel bricked his brain. You know, this is just the same sentiment being echoed again. And is it really so shocking that Nux cares more about this issue? I mean, you literally just said his family member died. I mean, if I had a family member involved in the conflict, yes, I would be a little more interested. Now, obviously, I'm just in it for the YouTube drama here. I'll let him, respond to this. But again, I think this is just a dumb criticism. Now, I don't know all of Nux's opinions and all. I can't really keep up with 2 hours of videos every day, but he doesn't really deserve to be slandered, right? I'm pretty sure Nux has said many times that he doesn't enjoy LollyCon. That's just a lie. And I think he told me this, I kind of forgot, but I'm pretty sure he lives in America. So Hassan is just hallucinating here. Also, I feel like half of this information he's gotten from
Yeah,
Nux
I'm pretty
videos.
sure
So he
Nux
is
does live
watching
in
the
America.
franchise. He's watching all the slop tubers. It's
I doubt he's like fully paying attention, but he's definitely watching things because how else does he know about this information? Like, come on now.
themes. The slop tubers who he claims that he will never watch, he claims he never takes seriously, but he's got his eyes glued on everybody's channel. You know he's watching right now. Say hi to Hassan again, guys. Now, this next part, he calls out Nux's Hassan series, where each title is Hassan is 10% fucked, etc., etc.
Why are you nodding along? You're like, this makes a lot of sense. You're in your mind, you're like, this is. It feels like a setup.
There's just like a lot of different. I mean, there's just a lot of different ways all these things could go.
This guy will always fucking post about me and be like, Hassan is. I think it was at first he was like, Hassan is 65% done. Hassan is like 100% done. Now it's like Hassan is 1,000,000% done. And at no point like does his audience ever go, dog, you said he was going to go to jail 8 months ago. Why is he not in jail?
So what you're telling me is that there's now a QAnon about you.
Yes.
And that like they're being like, the storm's coming. The Patriots are going to come for Hassan any minute now.
Oh, you're laughing right now. All right. There were a bunch of people in your situation, who were also laughing. And what happened? They got fucking sued by Ethan. The Hassan orbiters who were so smug. Denims was like, oh no, Ethan will never sue me. He's too pussy for that. And what happened? It turns out karma eventually does come around. And I maintain it is not clickbait, all right? It is just a future prediction, all right? Is it my fault that justice sometimes takes a while? All right. I'm not God here. I can't expedite the process here. I'm not the US government. I'm just pointing out the sequence of events that is likely to happen if Hassan continues down the trajectory he's going, right? If he continues, aiding and supporting terrorists by spreading their propaganda, if he continues radicalizing his audiences by calling shootings like a false flag, but I'm not saying it's a false flag, just if he continues bolstering his absolutely insane chatter and fan base into becoming more and more extremists, I'm just saying eventually something's going to happen. Eventually he's going to get sued, or eventually
eventually it'll lead to a full-on investigation into Twitch and everything, as it should, because the two-tiered moderation and everything that they allow on that site, especially when it comes to Hassan, is just ridiculous. I can't even with Pegasus sometimes. Holy shit, this guy can yap.
Gonna get arrested. When he's constantly one-upping himself with like pulling out guns and shit. And I think it really says more about you that you
and then
screw
also
up so
threatening
much
the wrong
that people
viewer.
can literally make daily videos about you, and it's always new information. It's always new lies, new propaganda, new responses.
I wouldn't say
for
it's
someone who
always
looks
new
down on
information,
drama
but,
or slop tubers, he
No,
sure
no,
seems
it
to
is
love
always
it.
new
Also, how is
information. It
this
pretty
guy
much
calling
is.
out other people for being untrustworthy when he said that Russia would never invade Ukraine a week before the invasion?
We did it
no.
successfully. We stopped
He did not.
Vladimir Putin from invading Ukraine. Or maybe that was never going to fucking happen. Like I said, it was never going to fucking happen.
How can your audience
Well,
trust
that
you
didn't
after
age
that,
well.
after you're so bad at reading politics? Now, this next part, he brings up Trump somehow.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Is
all
like,
of the crimes that he has committed.
can you
against
imagine
us.
if I was like, if I was constantly just being like, any moment now Trump is going to get arrested.
That is actually what would happen though if like you got like nabbed or whatever in this current environment, is that like 20,000 gang stalking victims of you would be like coming out to testify about all of the ways you've been oppressing them.
Yeah. He's like, dude, did you see? He like
What?
flexed one time. That shit was crazy. It was unacceptable.
Oh my god, the fake laughs are contagious, it seems. His little minions
seriously.
there are like, dude, how can you be this less of a man that you let yourself get bitched by Hassan? I mean, he just has a posse of these people that he's putting them in the iDubbbz chair. It's absolutely crazy. And yes, Hassan, your
The
greatest
iDubbbz
crime
chair.
is flexing. That is what everybody is criticizing you about. Honestly, has this guy ever addressed
That
the
is part of
open
what people
terrorist
criticize
support?
him about.
Does he ever have any actual arguments, or is it just bullshit every time? And honestly, I'm not sure you should be pulling out these yes men dick riders, because Dan Clancy might be a little pissed. Oh no, he's taking over. Hey guys, Dan Clancy here. Hassan, we had an appointment. We made a deal for the Gluckatron 9000, 7 p.m.
Oh,
You
jeez.
betrayed me. No more free BJs. No more protection. You're getting banned on Twitch. Just kidding. I'm a cuck too. I will be watching from my chair in the corner. Bring on as many yes men as you need. I, for one, do not care. But I do expect another gooning rag for Christmas this year. Here's what people are saying. We got the #1 Hassan Glazer.
Yeah, this #1 Hassan Glazer, Gato Fumador. He I think they went private last I heard. But they've been saying some they've said some really bad things.
I still haven't figured out what things Hassan has made up about Asmin. The only remotely plausible example I've seen is something about Asmin liking lobby. Is that it? You just know this person is the most unemployed person on the planet.
Wow.
Lol, what an awkward roundabout way to let the audience know that Nuxtaku is Jewish. It wasn't even relevant at all to what he was saying. He really just does hate Jews openly at this point. I mean, his statements are very anti-Semitic, that's for sure. Bro, making up that he didn't make things up, wild. That guy next to Ozan sounds like such a fucking cuck, I'm sorry. True! Alright, moving on to Ice Poseidon. Out of nowhere, he's called out Hassan, says that he hates him. Fakest dude I've ever seen.
I hate him. I hate Hassan. I think he's the fakest dude I've ever seen. He's the fakest content creator. I just, it's disgusting. Like, he is so.
Yes, he is. He's
like,
absolutely fake.
He pretends to be a socialist.
Yep.
But he's so far capitalist, it's crazy. He is just profiting off the back ends of his manipulated audience who are in desperate situations in their real life. Obviously, his audience must be like super poor and desperate or something because they want socialism.
Right. Socialism doesn't mean you die when you are no longer a productive worker. Okay? Every single one of these companies have blood on their hands. Kick is a little bit more direct. No, there is no amount of money that would make me move to Kick. Stop asking me why. I already told you. You don't even care about the actual answer.
Nah, getting called out by a scumbag crypto scammer is crazy. When Ice Poseidon has the moral high ground on Hassan, that's when you know you screwed up. I guess everybody's just taking turns shitting on him. Bro, literally.
And Ice Poseidon has quite a lack of morality as well. So, yes.
He works for Amazon. Jeff Bezos Employee of the Month Club. Hassan, have some conviction. Boycott Amazon. It's on the BDS list. Don't you support Palestine?
Have some conviction.
But I just find it funny, Hassan's whole operation. It's very ironic. A bunch of broke people donating to this multimillionaire who claims to care about these said broke people while doing everything he can to keep them broke. And heaven forbid you make an extra dollar, you better be donating that shit to one of his 50 causes that he's always fundraising for. You know, I, the multimillionaire, I'm not going to donate a single penny, but you the 9-to-5 brokey, you better be donating all your money to these absolutely useless lawsuits or whatever. They're just going to end up going to Ethan anyways. Now, Yeet also posted this, Socialism by Gucci, and it's just like Hassan flexing.
Right now. On the way here, we saw like 5 people.
Yep, look at that socialism.
Yeah, if you had the spares, it would have been Joe over. Time. What number did
She's looking. She's looking. She's like, "This is. It's good, right?
What number did
this is a good fit? Yeah. You like it? Do I look like a male manipulator?
Well, to be fair, you look like that without the Gucci. Socialist
Yeah,
fellas, we got the multi-millionaire socialists right here. Instantly, we got the dick riders. Ah, yes, because living socialism as a capitalist system is possible. Doesn't mean you can't have socialist values. Socialism doesn't mean you can't have nice things. It just means not leaving people to be without it all. But that's not in the individual. It's the government's job. He's outright supporting capitalism here. Stop it with their delusions and see it for what it is. He's a hypocritical grifter. I live in a socialist democracy. We have nice things. You should look up Norway sometime. A country with no military and a welfare system paid with oil. Lol. I'm not even judging he can afford this and whatnot, but for the guy who's always like, guys, there are horrible things happening in the world, and to focus on how can you be flexing with Gucci when there's a genocide going on, Hassan? Disgusting. Shopping at Gucci and live streaming it surely does seem tone deaf. He could easily do this off stream. Oh no, he has a justification for that. Did he tell you why he bought his Porsche, by the way? It's so that his audience can share the experience together, as if any one of his fans get to drive the Porsche. Actually delusional.
So
Textbook socialism. Give us all your money and we'll take care of you. Somehow they're in a Lambo with a Dior. How can bros community not feel so incredibly freaking stupid? I guess you're too stupid to feel stupid? Stupidception. Now moving on to Tectone. Tectone shows his veteran brother Frogan's viral PTSD clip. Also reveals that he has things brewing that will change the streaming landscape forever.
Obviously, coming from a military family, I try to respect the people who have sacrificed their comfortability and their safety to make sure that people of this country are safe. So obviously, me and Twitch Chat want to thank you for your service. But it's got to be pretty hard going from a place where you can't feel safe to trying to retransition into just being a civilian. And it's like, okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what this woman had to say about this.
Yeah.
And this is why I called her
So
fat.
bad.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. The U.S. military? Who fucking who? I hope you get PTSD.
That's when she goes to stuff her.
I noticed she was eating the whole time.
Yeah, she does that a lot.
No, I think that a lot of times most soldiers are really good people.
Yeah.
They're trying to serve their country.
Yes.
I don't see how you can say that they deserve PTSD. That's
Where do you think she lives?
in the U.S., I'm sure.
Yep. California.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad people out there, John.
Yep. Well, that is essentially that is my content these days.
Just responding to people like this.
Yeah, just trying to take down the bad people on this platform and highlighting the hypocrisy. And I currently I can't say publicly, but I have something brewing behind the scenes that I'm going to be releasing to the public. I have another thing releasing in probably around 6 months
brewing?
that I think is going to change the streaming landscape forever. That was another big piece of the puzzle that I'm going to be using to absolutely
Able to OnlyFans,
like genuinely fucking obliterate.
Okay, so it seems like another lawsuit is actually coming with Ethan threatening like Noah Samson, Bad Empanada.
Really?
And now we got Tectone threatening. I don't even know who this is. Maybe Twitch itself.
I didn't even hear that Noah Samson and Bad Empanada were going to possibly be added, threatened. That's interesting. Okay.
He says it's going to change the streaming landscape. Not sure exactly what he's talking about, if it's going to be individual people or Twitch itself. Maybe Dan Clancy, the Gooning Lord. Who knows? Who knows? I will be there, whatever, to cover it as the premium slop tuber, obviously. Now, I just got to talk about
And I will be there to cover your coverage. Maybe I will cover it before you. We'll see. No, you're too fast. You're too quick with this, Pegasus. There's no way I can beat you.
Frogan, all right? Frogan, all right? The absolute epitome of privileged people, all right? Stuffing her face while wishing PTSD on people who are protecting her, risking their lives every day to protect her safety. Now, let me put this into terms that Frogan will understand. They are not protecting you, so to speak. They are protecting the McDonald's workers, the people who cook your Big Mac, the people who give you your chicken nuggets. Now you understand the gravity of the situation, don't ya? Honestly, I'm so sick and tired of these people thinking the world revolves around them. Okay.
That would probably put it into
all right. I
perspective for
guess it
Frogan.
does
I
work
mean,
with Frogan. She is exempted from that. Considering naturally the largest mass will create a distortion in the space-time continuum, the fabric of space, which will lead to an artificial gravitational pull. Gravity is not real, guys, actually, towards the center of mass, that being Frogan. I truly do pray for the farmers of California having to feed Frogan on a regular basis. I pray for the local McDonald's workers having to deal with her 17 billion orders per day. It's gotta be, you gotta be working like 24/7. She gotta be like Squidward from that one episode where he gets obsessed with Krabby Patties and it just like goes to his legs and blows him up. F in the chat, fellas. F in the chat for all the poor employees who have to feed Frogan. Now moving on to Casey Tron. Apparently she's called out XQC. Not exactly sure what's going on here. Seems like a bit of a troll. Basically, recap from the last video, Hassan was calling out XQC for not stopping people from saying the N-word. I don't know exactly who they're referring to. I think it was Destiny. But regardless, obviously XQC can't control other people. But he did say that he doesn't support it and he tells people not to say it. So after that, XQC calls out Hassan for being a hypocrite and says that he says the C word all the time, and that one's for white people. So now Casey Tron has randomly jumped in and is supporting XQC for some reason. I have no idea what's going on. I think she might be trolling, but again, her entire life is a troll. So I don't know.
Like, I'm actually, Hassan, I actually am one of your friends who actually gives a fuck about you enough to let you know that what the fuck you're doing is shameful, it's harmful, it's unbecoming, it makes you look racist to white people. I am formally calling Hassan out as a white woman. I am formally calling Hassan out for his usage. I am holding him accountable. So I just want to know what XQC now thinks of Destiny's usage of the N-word and if he will now hold Destiny accountable. Because his whole reason for not holding or his whole reason, right, he was like, well, nobody holds Hassan accountable for the C word, and I do. I hold Hassan accountable as a white woman.
Right, so I don't really know what the heck was the point of that. Nobody was really asking for your opinion, Casey. I don't think anybody mentioned you at all.
Why
Way to go to insert yourself in the situation, I guess. But anyways, Casey, do we got any updates on your husband and his Grindr notification, or you're not gonna look into that? But anyways, I feel like this is some really stupid drama. I would rather Hassan drop...
So I actually didn't know that there was a whole thing with her husband and having a Grindr notification. That's something.
50 slurs than actually support terrorists, because it's just a completely different playing field. Okay, so apparently Casey also called out Ludwig for supporting Ethan. Apparently I missed this.
Oh,
Hassan's audience isn't watching fucking boxing events.
Ethan has...
Pretty sure both Anissa and Ian have said that it's not like sales were doing that great before the video had came out either. Like, I don't really think that Content Cop
No, but the video definitely put a nail in the coffin. What are you talking
I think that like bad face incels running around doing smear campaigns is what ruined the event. I just know how these influencer types work.
I know.
And I think that he just wanted to get on to the next controversy. Them talking about something else that he did besides like his friend getting drunk and going and bothering women at his party. Yeah, and then like this is also just very embarrassing for Ludwig, I think. You've already defended me more than Ian and Anissa. See, and that's like exactly, you know, like that's exactly what all the incels are going to be saying about him now. They're going to be like, yeah, Ludwig is annoying, but at least he tells it like it is and isn't a fucking moron like Hassan.
Oh my god, how many incels was that? Is that a new record, guys? Did we actually break the world record for the most amount of uses? That's actually probably low numbers for her. Casey.
But yeah, people still don't like Ludwig because he says like the safest non-issue type of take that he can possibly make.
As usual, with the scientifically worst take possible. She's like the opposite of Ludwig. Ludwig tries to mathematically appease the most people. Casey mathematically pisses off the most amount of people. Dude, imagine being a Casey Tron viewer.
You could say that we won't go there. I was going to say we could say the same about you sometimes. You try and piss people off, it seems, but you know, we won't go there, Pegasus. You're funny.
Imagine like coming home from your 9 to 5 and watching this stuff I can't say on YouTube, all right? Watching this person just sit there like grotesquely streaming. Like, how are you doing this? You are completely broke. You can't even afford a lawyer. Get a job at this point. Holy shit, I can't believe you're still streaming. Dude, this is actually pathetic. You've not only ruined your own life, but you've roped your Discord mod ass boyfriend into this as well, who is on Grindr apparently. I still don't know what the hell that was, by the way. What was that pop-up? You've apparently proposed to him. I don't know if that was a troll. Her entire life is a troll at this point. You can't really tell. I'm going to assume that's true, and you've actually married this guy, and you've tied him in. You've tied him into your financial situation, so Ethan's going to extract all the money from both of you.
Oh yeah,
It's
and
like,
this happened
goddamn,
after
you just
the-
destroy
oh,
everything you touch. This is sad.
So
Anyways,
stupid.
moving on to the most pressing question of our time. Somebody asked Asmon a very diabolical question.
If I had to live with Denims, Frogan, Casey, or Mike for a year, who would you choose? I think probably Frogan. Yeah, like she probably just keeps to herself, sits in her room, doesn't really do anything, minimal problems. Yeah, probably Frogan. If no, really, like that would be like I'm thinking about this logically. I'm being logical. Denims 100%. No, people just say that because they like her, right? They think she's pretty. But like that's not really like it's not really how I think, okay?
All right, as the forefront expert in Hassanetics and Hassan's orbiting moons, let me tell you the correct answer. First off, Denims would be annoying as hell. Listening to her voice all day would make any man jump off a bridge. She'd probably falsely accuse you of SA and try to ruin your life if she didn't like you. So that's a definite no. Caseytron would smoke so fucking much the house would be stinking like shit. She'd also bring her Discord mod ass boyfriend and then they just call you incels all day while actually living like a troll. Can you imagine your roommates with Caseytron and then, you know, you have to share like a bathroom and then she forgets to lock the door? Holy shit. Oh my God. Imagine you glance at that. No amount of bleach is saving you from that one. Now, Frogan would literally cause a famine. She would devour every bit of sustenance, every bit of food in the nearby galaxy. Unless you got 2 million farmers growing crops for you, maybe 5 billion. Living with Frogan would be scientifically impossible. You would go hungry. Your entire family would go hungry. She would run out of food and then she would eat you as well. Now, Mike from PA, he's all talk, right? He's like this absolute terminally online Reddit mod. So he would be very easy to live with. This guy can't even outbox a couch. If you try to do anything or pipe up, you just beat his ass. You could even straight up kick him out of the house. What is he gonna do? Cry in his Discord? So yeah, the correct answer is Mike from PA. Okay, moving on to some Destiny updates.
I can accept that answer. Mike from PA seems like he would probably be the easiest to live with out of those four. Well, actually, maybe not. Oh, we're talking about the Destiny stuff again.
God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN promo code Destiny to get around the Texas ban. On reflection, do you think that was grotesquely tasteless thing to be posting?
Why would you bring him on?
Absolutely not.
My 12-year-old daughter's crush is in my driveway power washing our camper. I just pulled out to the house and she came outside to welcome me. So did he smash? Destiny's going viral for being edgy again. This guy is just a degenerate. Okay, can we just accept it at this point? This guy's just a weirdo. It's not even edgy. This is just weird. It just shows you're like creepy as hell, bro. I don't know.
Right. He's created this false dichotomy between right-wing people that don't like when he says inappropriate comments towards children and like, you know, for example, like the victims of the flooding, etc., or something like this, and being woke. And he tries to draw false equivalency between the two things. There's just not. There's no equivalency. They're completely different things. There's no benefit to doing this at all. It's just stupid. I think it's counterproductive and it works against his goals, and I don't know why he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to convince people to your arguments or your side while acting like...
Why does Steven do it? Because that's how he keeps getting more and more views and people to actually watch him and tune into him, because he just says the most outlandish things and never apologizes.
A complete unhinged lunatic. I mean, saying that people deserve to be shot dead, apparently you said that before, making fun of kids dying, doubling, tripling down even on like news media like Piers Morgan and stuff, being an absolute creep on Twitter. I mean, I get it's a joke and all, but Jesus Christ, like that's just pathetic.
Yeah, I doubt
like, why are
it's a
you
joke.
talking about 12-year-olds banging or whatever? I don't know. I'm sure his life is pretty stressful with whatever lawsuit situations are going on there, whatever. But yeah, you gotta log off a little bit. You're becoming a little too Hassan pilled at this point. Destiny responds to Asmongold saying that his edgy tactics are counterproductive to achieving political goals. I thought comedy was legal again. You're so edgy and cool, man. Destiny's tactics are to get people to talk about him at any cost, whether it's saying a fireman deserved to die for being in a Trump rally or his NordVPN status. His goal is attention. It's clearly working. Here's a the people who think his comedy is good. Yeah, I mean, I guess it keeps you relevant, but I never understand the sort of rage baiting, making yourself go viral, because then people just don't like you, right? Don't you want people to like you? But anyways, let's move on to some Kalo Lorenz updates. The number one Hassan simp, of course.
So that it's a kind of a big problem with the internet in general right now. Is the main thing that gets attention, gets virality, gets everything views. It's rage bait, because also psychologically, rage and anger is the emotion that sticks with humans more than anything else.
She has a message for Ethan Klein fans. Basically, if you remember, she was caught talking to kids on Roblox for basically a fake story, and then reaching out to teenagers without the consent of their parents. Very creepy, weird shit.
Ethan Klein fans are literally just like speed running every single fake cancellation that I've ever gotten from Fox News or like any of these other right-wing ghouls. The latest thing is that they have discovered these out of context quotes that were taken from an interview that I did with Digiday back in like 5 years ago about the Hype House. And they're using it to claim that like I go into people's houses and like talk to their children or some weird shit. Now, here's a screenshot of some of what I said to Digiday. I just want to make this clear. When I say my job is getting teenagers to talk to me on the phone and getting them to let me into their house and follow me around, I'm talking about content houses. I'm talking about the Hype House, the Sway House.
You know, the thing is, she herself said that it's easier because she's a woman, and it would be creepy for like a 30-year-old man to go and try to talk to teenage girls. So you kind of self-reported there. So you can't even blame anybody for calling you out. And I don't really care if they're still influencers. If they're young, it's still weird as hell for you to try and get a story by going past all the adults in the situation straight to the teenagers. That's weird.
And then this other part when I'm saying, like, especially when their parents don't understand what they're doing, that's because a lot of these kids, again, are living out in LA or in New York without their parents. Yes, my job involves talking to young people. One thing I do think is worth talking about, though, is how deeply reactionary and right-wing this sort of innuendo and discourse is. This is the type of stuff that you hear from really extreme right-wing groups and figures, this idea of young people having no autonomy.
Oh my God, how are you arguing this? This is so weird. Now it's right-wing to think you're being a creepy hack. Ethan literally just said it's shady to try to paint him as some misogynistic incel pedophile weirdo when you're out here doing this type of shit, trying to find loopholes to talk to teenagers to get some stories or whatever. Throwing stones from glass houses here.
Also, this idea that like adults, should never have interaction with children or whatever. It's really weird, and it's not based in reality.
Okay, imagine
adults should never have inappropriate interactions with children. Bypassing a child's parents or proper adults in a situation to talk to them one-on-one is a bit inappropriate.
Imagine if a man was like, yeah, we should just have adults talking to kids all the time. I think the stigma is just really weird, guys. Let me talk to the little girl in Roblox in peace, guys. You're digging yourself such a crazy grave here. Ethan continuing on his misogynistic meltdown. Why is the child texting you 3 a.m. and she's like, well, there's different time zones. I think the main point was not the time here, but the fact that you're texting this Roblox kid. The stalking obsession that Ethan Klein has with me with other women is sick. I spoke about this in the video above. Ideas that Ethan, libs on the far right, espouse that young people don't deserve respect and autonomy, solely the property of their parents. Marginalized kids, especially LGBTQ youth, can be in danger of their parents. I'd never out a trans teen who spoke to me about why the internet was a lifeline for them to their parents. That's what Ethan's advocating for. When did he even talk about trans kids? What the heck? You're literally changing the issue completely, taking away from the fact that you're being called out for doing some weird shit. The beef continues. Ethan calls out Taylor Lorenz for being a vindictive hypocrite and drops some Roblox memes. The fact that a bigot like this person can openly call for a disabled journalist to be killed, I don't know what the hell she's talking about. Oh, look, it's Taylor Lorenz being a vindictive hypocrite who does everything she accuses others of. Taylor, your old ass, pushing 50, needs to close Roblox and go play bingo with the other retirees because you're more washed than iDubbbz' dirty whites. Ay, 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 ay. Infamous Roblox narc Taylor Lorenz will be in the audience taking notes. Beware. POV people are getting denied Medicaid and health insurance even in Roblox after the new bill. Quick, someone tell Taylor Lorenz she's gotta solve the Roblox crisis, guys. Alright, basically this Hassan Glazer account is like, who the F is Ethan now paying attention during Roblox media? He doesn't need to know any of this to make fun of Taylor Lorenz unless you're writing a story like Taylor. That's incredibly strange. Are the rumors coming true? Is Ethan actually a PDF file? Like I said, me making a silly joke about Taylor Lorenz reporting on ice raids in Roblox. Taylor, journalist. Ethan is a This is absolutely amazing. This is one of the best like side character beefs ever. Why is that 50?
Yes,
like Taylor hanging out with 8-year-olds on Roblox. Is it normal for an old hack to be chatting up little kids, you know? Now click this video
really
or you
not
gotta
normal.
share your pizza with Frogan, all right? You ain't getting a slice. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Welcome back to
Yeah. Things are just getting much worse for them every time I turn around. It's always something new with them, and they still have the lawsuit to deal with. Ugh. It's crazy. All right, so let's go into oh yeah, pirate software stuff. Let's go over some of pirate software's code with coding Jesus here.
The idea is pretty clear here. Just how absolutely abysmal this is for performance.
What's up, guys? CJ here. Now, in my last video on this topic, I mentioned that, so unless anything new comes out that I think I can bring my unique perspective to, I'm going to put pirate software behind me and just keep moving forward.
Yep.
One of Thor's criticisms of
And
that
of course
video,
nothing came
when he
out.
wasn't busy trying to smear me as a grifter,
It's just another like YouTube grifter trying to fight for relevance, dude. That's all that shit is.
despite the fact that my channel has been consistent for the past 5 years, is that I wasn't specific enough.
You can review languages. Many concepts are transferable. Concepts can be transferable, but specifics are not, and that's the problem.
Today's video sponsor is me. I built this platform called getcracked.io, which focuses on covering everything that is not lead code related to the technical interview for languages like Python, Rust, C++. That involves concepts like language knowledge, networking, operating systems, concurrency, computer architecture, etc.
And he's using pirate software as the promo code. That's
As you can
great.
see, we have over 600 problems that will really test and sharpen your skill set. Check it out. And so I figured maybe I can look for new information that I can bring my unique perspective to. Other creators, including myself, have covered the code snippets that he has shared publicly on stream. And so I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice if I can address Thor's critique by finding code that he's written off stream to really get into the details? So I decided to scour Pirate's website on the Wayback Machine and noticed that he actually included his source code resources as early as 2018. Just to be clear, these are the resources for his demo version of Heartbound. I was able to extract the code that he's written using data.win and the Undertale mod.
Okay, so that looks like something I'm gonna have to. Apparently, there was an update for I wonder if this is real. It may not be real. It looks fake. All right, so we won't talk about that because I can't verify it.
Tool, and I'd like to focus on that for today's code review. Now, I know that a lot of people might be thinking, why are you doing a review on old code? Well, I decided to compare that 2018 version of the code that Thor himself distributed with the code available in the demo version of Heartbound. And at least at the places that I found major issues, there wasn't any difference. Now, I also want to stress that this video is going to be made in line with my own values as a developer. That being that we are reviewing mistakes so that others can learn from them. And in doing so, I will be providing alternative solutions. That doesn't mean that my solutions are the best improvement that can be made or a silver bullet that can apply in every scenario. But it will give you an idea for a general direction that you might want to take your own project in case you encounter similar issues throughout your development. Now, I'm going to be categorizing issues in this review based off their priority or severity, rather. So we're going to be starting with large or major issues, then going to medium or intermediate issues, and then ending off with small or minor issues. So let's get into it.
Good structure.
I want to start by observing his lighting engine by taking a look at the file draw light. Let's take a look at this draw light method and hone in on the first case statement. Let's break down at a high level what's going on here. Thor loops over every pixel in a sprite, checking if each pixel touches or overlaps with a certain object. If it does, it then applies a light effect repeatedly, and with each repeat, it makes that light fade more diffuse. He then draws said colored pixels at that location to simulate the light fall off. Now, let's say your sprite is 128 by 128 pixels. That's 16,384 position checks he's doing per frame per light source. If he has multiple light sources or is trying to run at 60 FPS, you will feel the lag. Now, he actually checks collisions twice for each pixel, and he doesn't have any early exit should his second instance of that check not execute. If light diffuse is 5, it's possible that he does an additional 4 iterations that returns false every single time. In the case that we have the exact same 128 by 128 pixel sprite, that is not just 16,384 checks. That's 98,304 checks at worst. What's worse is if you observe the second case, where light comes from the right instead of the left, you'll notice that Thor copied and pasted the entire left code into the right code's case, only changing the signage of light distance. What he could have done here is handled both right and left in the same case and simply applied the signage to light distance based off the direction of the light, and also apply the direction in which we iterate in the for loop differently based off that same signage. How do we improve upon the code here? Well, we really don't. We throw it out in favor of layers, surfaces, and shaders. I decided to bring on a game dev who has years of experience in GameMaker, working not only on his own hobby projects, but also as a contractor for a studio in order to explain this fundamental concept.
I'll just draw a little diagram. This is basically how his code works. Is he has a sprite that basically looks something like this. This is sort of like a beam shape, kind of what you'd expect from like a beam of light. For every pixel in the sprite, so each one of these is a pixel. It's basically going in the draw event and doing a collision check at like each pixel. It's basically checking and checking and checking. And if the pixel is on the sprite, it'll draw it. This is the starting point over here. And the farther away the pixel is from the starting point, it like blends it differently, and that'll create some kind of gradients. But yeah, this is a terrible way of doing it. I drew like 5 pixels here. This is like super scaled up. A sprite like this would be like hundreds and hundreds of pixels, and to check each of them on the X and the Y like coordinate, like every single frame for every single like object doing this is going to be like abysmal for performance. The way that I had suggested would be better is you have the sprite, same one, and also any other sprites you want to do this with. So keep in mind, if you're using this system, every single other object that's like a light beam or whatever is going to have to run this code like independently of each other. With this method, all the objects at once.
You could easily just modulate
random other objects over here. They also wanted to be light sources or something, I guess. All of them at once can draw themselves onto a surface. A surface is basically a picture almost, just made of pixels. You can make them any size you want, but in this case, all we'd have to do is make the surface the size of the camera. This would basically just be starting point, wherever the camera is in the room, right here. And these are all the objects that the camera would be seeing. We would just create a white surface, basically, just a surface that is just completely opaque. And these objects will draw themselves onto this surface. And before they do that, they'll set their GPU blend mode to subtract. So what that does basically is if I were to draw like this square here onto this white surface while the GPU mode is in subtract, it'll basically just erase right here. Like it'll take a chunk out of this white surface basically. And this area here will be like transparent
basically like a
on the
masking,
surface. Like the pixels will have an alpha of 0, meaning you'll just be able to see through them basically. So all these objects just need to draw themselves onto this white surface. And this basically makes it like, it's kind of like they're like little cutouts basically. And then what you do is you have a separate surface, and this is very common. A lot of lighting systems will use a surface like what I'm about to describe, where it's just completely like transparent. And then any light sources or gradients or, light beams, whatever, draw themselves onto this surface. Most lighting systems you'll see, unless they're using shaders, they'll usually use a surface like this where they will draw
shaders
any
make
lights.
it a little more difficult.
Think of this as like a gradient. Draw any lights they want just onto this surface, basically. Usually they'll use some fancy stuff with blend modes and all that to make it look good. Literally doesn't matter here. And then what you do is you take this surface, you set the blend mode to subtract again, and you draw it on top of this surface. So you set the target surface to this one, and then you draw this surface on top of it, basically. And that will result in this surface. I guess I'll draw the result surface here. It'll basically result in only the transparent parts of this surface will remain like on this surface. So see right here we have this little beam shape. So you would only be able to see like the parts of this little circle gradient basically through this cutout shape, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you'll still have your light diffuse or light fall off there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can make this, I mean, another limitation of this only goes, from what I can tell, directly like right or directly left. It does not seem to be able to rotate or go up and down. Now, I suppose you could do some weird stuff to get it to rotate, like maybe draw it onto a separate surface and rotate it, but it's still very suboptimal. With this, let's say I wanted to rotate this beam. This beam right here is going directly to the right. I could literally just draw it like this, like in a different direction. And the gradient would remain the same. It would be a lot easier. You wouldn't have to do any weird, trickery to get it to do that. What I'm saying is this sort of method supports like any shapes and any orientation, and it's much better for performance, like drastically.
To really reinforce why this is classified as a major issue in Pirate Software's code, Level 5 Fish decided to profile it against his own surface-based implementation. The comparison code is available on GitHub, linked in the description, and the full 7-minute explanation by Level 5 Fish is available for my patrons and junior dev level channel members. Here's the 2-minute summary.
So I've taken the lighting code and I've imported it into GameMaker. Now, the only things I've changed are this line right here, where it says it's just a conditional basically, and I've just replaced it with true, meaning it's always going to run. And the reason for doing that is because whenever this was here, it would just flicker. So I just took it out. The other thing is I've added this variable here. This will allow us to track how many times a pixel is drawn. So every time this line is run, it will add to this value here. If I press T, it'll display that value, and we can see how many times it's running and how many times it's doing a collision check. I have this sprite here. This is an 800 by 100 sprite. So somewhat large, but not absurdly large, and is not something that's like unrealistic to see in actual projects by any means. I've added it here to this room. It's using this lighting script to draw sort of a gradient of light over it. So we're going to see what happens when I run the project. We have kind of a gradient rectangle basically, but I don't know if you notice something. We are getting less than 20 FPS. That code is
awful.
running the collision check and the drawing the pixels 80,000 times. I've also gone and created the system that I had previously described that involves using surfaces. So here it is the same sprite, the same rectangle, except it's using this other lighting system. This one right here. that I've created. So let's see what happens when I run this project. As you can see, it looks basically the same, except, oh wow, our FPS is actually there. I'm actually going to run this in debug mode, and debug mode will allow us to run a profiler, which actually will tell us basically what percentage of performance each one of these objects are using. This was the lighting code created by Pirate Software. It is using 99.675% of performance, roughly. This is the implementation that I came up with, and I'll note it's really nothing complex. It's not super difficult, I think, for most people to make something similar. 0.238% performance. The idea is pretty clear here. Just how absolutely abysmal this is for performance.
I now want to move on to an issue that I would classify as having medium severity, and that is the way that Pirate structures dialogue in this game. Now,
okay, I need to refill my drink real fast. Give me 1 second, everyone. Okay. There we go. And we're back.
The way that he does so is via a two-dimensional array called dialogue array, similar to the one-dimensional array that he had for his event timeline. For every single language and every scene, he checks in a GML file that contains this 2D dialogue array. This adds a lot of bloat to your code, makes it less navigatable, and also it limits scalability. So as you can see here, each language and each scene has its own file. He also has another 2D array called voice list. Now, the first index of voice list is character, and the second is the emotion that character feels. As you can see, if character 1 has emotion 2, well, then this is the sound file that he refers to. If character 1 has emotion 19, well, then I guess this magic number just needs to do. Now, how did I know that the first index is a character and the second is the emotion? Well, I wouldn't know just by looking at this. I would have to search for voice list, and it just so happens that this is the only part of his code where I'm able to tell that the first index is character index and the second index is the selected emotion for that character. What I would do, instead of checking in these files, would be to ship them with my game's local files and assets. I would then partition the dialogue assets by localization. Notice how in my chapter1.json file, we have scenes, and scenes has multiple keys, each the name of a particular scene. We start off with Book Dream Intro, which was the name of one of his files that contained a bunch of dialogue. We then go through every dialogue within the list of Book Dream Intro. Each of those nodes contains a speaker, a dialogue ID, a text, emotion, volume, replies, and optionally a next scene if we need to move forward. Speaker will pull up the sprite for Ralph. Dialogue ID can be used to reference said dialogue node later. Text is what we display on screen. Emotion relates to the voice that's being used. We also have an optional list of replies. By optional, I mean it can either be empty or it can contain several nodes. Each one of those nodes contains a text and a next scene. So once a user selects one of those nodes, for example, selects the no you didn't, the next scene moves on to the denial response. As you can see, the denial response scene also has its own separate speaker, text, dialogue ID, volume, replies, and pushes you to the next scene. There's really 101 ways to build up on what I just suggested. None of what I mentioned includes obfuscation or saving of dialogue options, but It's better than what exists currently. In fact, it's probably the bare minimum you'd expect from somebody with 8 years of experience in Game Maker. Now let's move on to the minor category.
Definitely,
there are several things I'd like to bring up, and I'll try to do so as quickly as possible. My first criticism is useless code. Thor's code is littered with it. Take a look at this case, for example. It contains a switch statement that switches on an object index, but doesn't actually do anything with that index. Instead, it defaults to the damage polarity, either 1 or -1. I've never seen anybody write code like this. Interns that I've mentored, junior developers, it's just really odd and doesn't do anything. A static code analyzer will most likely pick up on this. Many IDEs either come with them built in or support third-party static code tools. So if you're not already using one, consider doing so. You'd also think that a game as art-rich as this would have some sort of color palette instead of just hard-coding colors. The next is unexplained constants. They are everywhere. I brought this up in my original video, and a lot of people said that the magic numbers I referred to weren't really magic numbers because you can use IntelliSense to tell what the actual parameter names are associated with those numbers. Putting aside the fact that nobody should need to hover over a method for 2 seconds to tell what the actual parameters stand for, let alone do this for over 20 methods, magic numbers in their purest form are everywhere in Thor's code. There's at least half a dozen in each file, maybe even more. Take a look at the 100 million here for active color, or the 765 that aren't really explained. In many places where Thor performs I/O operations, he never first checks whether or not that file exists, or whether or not he has permissions to read from or write to that file. Therefore, he never actually handles any exceptions or errors that may result from said operations. Now, I want to make this very clear. If this is your first time coding, good on you. The purpose of this channel is not to discourage, it's to encourage. But what we're seeing here is a repeated pattern of behavior of somebody that claims to have over 8 years worth of experience, at least in Game Maker, and 20 years of experience in the game industry as a developer. But contrary to how much experience they should have, how much they brag about their accomplishments, there's a massive incongruity between what they can produce and who they say they are. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It goes a long way. If you guys would like to go above and beyond, consider becoming a member or patron. You guys get access to a bunch of really cool and exclusive perks. I want to shout out GeekyBit, Level 5 Fish, and Kevin Core Devs for helping to make this video a reality. For those of you that want to check out their links, those of them that want to feature their links will have their links featured on screen. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.
And yes, he only has like 5 years of experience comparatively to Pirate Software Thor's 20 plus years or whatever it is. And the fact that he's able to pick all that out is just very telling. Very, very telling that he has no idea what he's doing in certain cases, especially like that lighting system. I'm not very good when it comes to design-based coding, but even I could see that that lighting system was an issue. And let me see here. We got a few more things.
There's been a shift in the way things look in the past few years. Things that we thought were ugly and gross, ew, get that away from me, are now like the central focus of a top charting album and summer aesthetic. I recently mentioned this phenomenon in my flat design video and people seemed interested in it, so here's a full video diving into what I very nervously and quickly coined as digital throwback. I don't know if that's a good title, but I had to reuse it to make the connection between the two videos. If it does take off, please credit me and send me those pink frosted cookies from the grocery store. So launch your Microsoft Paint and let's explore how the old internet is changing how things look today and tomorrow and probably the next day too. I don't see this just...
Isn't that it's basically just like the retro fad is what it sounds like. But I mean, I'm sure he'll go more in depth in this, but from just the onset, it sounds like it's that whole retro fad coming back, how it always does. So everybody always goes back to the past.
Being like a weekend trend. So how are we seeing the old internet affect the way things look today? Basically, things that we only saw on the internet are being adapted by big brands and used outside of the internet. I already did an intro. I don't know why I'm still explaining it. Let's just prove my point. Okay, let's start off with the most basic example, Windows. And I'm not talking about the kind that I look through to watch women cook. I'm talking about the kind that contains all your computer stuff in it. I feel like I've seen Windows in graphics ever since Vaporwave was a thing so long ago, but it's basically just putting Windows into your art as part of the graphic. You've probably seen a shirt with Microsoft Paint on it, or like a cutesy pack of stickers with like little pink windows that say dump him or some shit. Don't listen to that advice. No matter what your boyfriend is doing, just kind of roll with it. Even if he has a really nasty bathtub and does parkour while you try to talk to him. On the topic of Microsoft Paint, let's move on to our second old internet trend, pixels. Now, you might associate these with video games that dudes in 2005 would yell about on YouTube, and you're kind of right. I had to use old internet as like an umbrella term for the title because nothing else was cohesive enough. You win. Are you happy? It was still a big part of the old internet, so you don't like completely win. Pixel art was all over the place to promote the Minecraft movie, from McDonald's toys to fake sodas. It was also used a lot a few years ago in Spotify's rap thing. They had like Microsoft Paint brushes going through the background. People did not like that. It looked really ugly, I'll admit. Pixel art is everywhere now. Nintendo has to actively fight the urge to not put 8-bit Mario in the nastiest form into everything they do, harder than Elon Musk has to fight the urge to not become literal human aids. Now, what do Elon Musk and VHS tapes have in common? Well, they're both associated with the word Dumbo. That was a really bad transition, but what I'm trying to say is our next point is the VHS effect. The unmistakable VHS look has been cropping up everywhere for a while now. What was once an ugly artifact that we tried to cut out of our YouTube videos is now something we spend hours in editing trying to achieve. If you have an actual team behind you or you're just crazy enough, you can go through the trouble of recording something onto a VHS tape and then digitizing that thing to get the authentic look. One time in high school, I made a vlog and then I put it onto this Miss Doubtfire tape and then digitized it to get that real VHS look. It was not worth all the effort. I don't know why I did that. It was so boring. The VHS effect is used a ton in music videos and advertisements, often as B-roll to like split up the look of the whole thing and make it feel more homey. I can't get into that. We're gonna get into the why next after this. Staying in the realm of camera looks, digital cameras have had a huge resurgence in recent years. People have been really going in hard on the feeling of old social media posts, aka weird millennial vibes, by taking pictures with digital cameras. They don't make the images look as good as they do if you were to take it on an iPhone, but that's kind of the point, Dad. It's like a vibe. Let's end this section on the strangest vibe that I just had to include, brat. I'm indifferent about this. Do I look like I know what the fuck a brat summer is? But you have to admit that it was a big deal. I never thought I'd see a blurry JPEG on the cover of a vinyl at Target in the most interesting shade of green, but here we are. Why am I sideways? Is there a reason why I'm sideways for this shot? So it's obvious the modern world of design, film, and advertising are heavily being inspired by the old internet. But why?
Well, like I said, it's basically the whole trend of going back to retro and having that come back up. It's just like how we always do throughout the years. Like right now, it's mostly been about the 90s, early 2000s. In the 90s, it was more about the 80s and 70s.
Let's start with the most obvious, nostalgia. Brands are marketing towards people who grew up watching VHS tapes, posting digicam booty pics to social media, and interacting with freaks through a window with 3 buttons on the top corner. These people are old enough to buy shit now. I mean, not really with the job market, economy, and ever-growing tension in the Middle East, but we're still being marketed towards. Nostalgia is the most important thing when it comes to advertising. We all miss the days of when pooping your pants wasn't the end of the world. It was just a normal Wednesday. That's the feeling that advertisers want to hone in on. Not only is this throwback look nostalgic, but it feels homemade. Now let's reverse that. This hoe made me throw it back to look nostalgic. When you embrace the blemishes that we once fought so hard to get away from, it makes your project, whether it's a video, design, or piece of branding, feel human. It's not an overly polished, high-budget piece of media. It's art made by people just like me. When you strip down hardware in this way, you also make the end product feel more attainable to the mouth-breathing viewers such as you or me. I have a deviated septum, that's why I mouth breathe. What's your excuse? When a music video or ad cuts to clips of whatever you were just watching but with a VHS effect, it feels like, hey, I could do this too. I don't need a $2,000 camera and director and to know what a key grip is. It makes sense for certain brands and artists to maintain this relatable and attainable feel like this. We love to see someone we can relate to succeed. That's why I love to see Timothée Chalamet succeed, because it's like, wow, us hot, skinny dudes really do have a chance in this cruel world.
I don't like to see anyone succeed. I'll put that out there now. I want to see everybody fail. Okay? Just remember this. I want to see everybody fail.
World. Before we get to the last point, I also want to admit it just looks dope. Maybe it's because I grew up with the internet, VHS tapes, pixel art, and blurry photos. I find it all charming and appealing. I wasn't even born in the 90s. I'm not allowed to wear those Nickelodeon 90s baby shirts. My family was just a little bit behind on everything.
Right,
As
really?
I've
You
gotten
weren't born in
older,
the
boy,
90s?
do my joints feel it. Don't talk to me till I've had my coffee. I've learned to really appreciate imperfection in art, and that's not me just coping with my videos being mid ADHD video essays. It feels more human and relatable when creatives decide to forego a big budget and choose to make something feel like a homemade video. And I don't mean to say that the contrary is bad. Grassroots projects that turn into full-blown creator-led companies is sick, especially when they're led by a gay couple like Rhett and Link. My point being is that this style of ugliness and blemishes are old enough to feel charming and intentional now. And that brings us to our final main point, and also relates to the origin of this topic: flat design.
Flat design, I don't
On a bigger
really
scale,
fully
this
remember
embrace of old, ugly styles is basically a reaction to the overpolished, corporate piggy look of the
Oh, the
2010s.
corporate.
Just like me, now
Okay.
that I regularly shower, everything for the past decade or so has been so pristine and clean. Movies look perfect, ads are photoshopped and airbrushed to perfection, smartphone cameras look lifelike, and user interfaces and operating systems are so high resolution, you can't even count the pixels anymore if you tried. While all these things look
That's true.
objectively good, they can get a little exhausting and look flat. So how do you make something look unique and stand out? By making it ugly. BMW, don't take this advice. You guys are a really bad example of this advice. We're so used to music videos being huge productions, so when one looks like this, it feels like a breath of fresh air. Every album cover is a pristine, professionally designed piece of art, so why not make one look a little ugly and homemade in a charming sort of way? To tack on to this final point, I think another reason why we're seeing these things come back is because people have been really trying to decentralize their phones. Whether it's because they think an old digital camera looks cool or they're trying to use their phone less, I've been seeing a lot of people use actual cameras to take pictures and videos instead of their smartphones. Again, it looks better with an iPhone, but a picture feels so much more deliberate and memorable when you take it with an actual camera. Plus, people just assume you're a photographer when you take creep shots of them with an actual camera, and they just kind of let you be. I personally grew up using all sorts of cheap consumer cameras.
Look, being able to take creep shots is always a good reason to go back to using a regular camera. I don't know if it's I know there are some people trying to move away from the phone, sure. But I still think it has mostly to do with the whole retro nostalgia type of thing that people are usually always going back to when it comes to style and trends.
Cameras to take pictures and make videos, so it didn't feel all that unnatural to me to bust out one of my old cameras and start using it again when it became socially acceptable to do so. I can imagine if you didn't grow up messing around with one of these, it's a really fun and novel thing to be introduced to, like a caveman with fire or your middle school bully finding out about your skin tag. I want to include that we're also changing the way things look. Us normal people, not just brands. We're literally whichever Jenner was in that shitty Pepsi commercial, changing the world. We continue to create, share, and upload things that are homemade and imperfect. The internet has made us accustomed to seeing things made by people and schizo. So a high budget photo shoot doesn't resonate as well as shoot me in the dick. I cannot get this line wrong. So a high budget photo shoot doesn't resonate as well as something that feels homemade. What is wrong? So a high budget photo shoot doesn't resonate as something that feels homemade, then uploaded to the internet. It wasn't even a hard line. I could not get that out. So that's how the old internet is reshaping how things look today. It grounded art for all the kids that grew up on it, showing them that you too can be a designer, photographer, grifter, or filmmaker. These projects that we're now seeing in the real world are made by people who grew up with the internet existing and probably were self-taught through it. They dabbled in Microsoft Paint and made pixel art from games they loved and shared it online. They have a nostalgia for the Windows that contained all the information they needed to get where they are today, and they're proud of their roots. I think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of this whole digital throwback look as more people who grew up on the internet get out there and make incredible things. Chondle that subscribe button. Check out my DJCam pictures on the Instagram.
Chondle?
You can also check out the store. Everything on there was made by me, and thank you so much for watching.
Okay, well, that was a funny way of saying hit the subscribe button. Chondle. But yeah, it makes some good points and everything, but it's pretty much like I said, it's an aspect of how we always get back to how retro type of style, that type of thing, nostalgia always seems to come back in into into the into the current trend, the current thing. All right, so I guess on that one, we'll go into this because this is the consequences of growing up online.
Whenever I start to think about how much time I've wasted watching videos on the internet, I start to panic. And then I pick up my phone and distract myself by continuing to watch videos on the internet. I can feel my brain getting dumber. I can feel my life passing me by, and yet I'm stuck in an endless scroll like a gambling addict rolling slots waiting for the next dopamine hit. Get off the internet and go make something of yourself. Delaying
Yeah, a lot of
gratification
people have this
in
problem.
this digital economy, where I can Google Ultra HD 4K videos of hot moms, where I can develop parasocial relationships with VTubers. Are you kidding? I mean, there's just endless amounts of worldly pleasures available to me for little to no effort. Men used to have to
That's
work
true.
their entire lifetime to see some boobies. Now I can just Google it. People used to have to learn hobbies to entertain themselves, but now they can just go on YouTube and watch somebody else do their hobbies. Internet addiction is a very common experience for a vast majority of my generation. We grew up on the internet, which offered more stimulation than anything in real life ever could. What can I say? Sunsets are way prettier when the saturation is boosted to 200. The beach looks way better when you color correct the water to be ultra aquamarine blue. Everything online is in perfect contrast, bright colors, and fast edits that leave you no time to wonder, maybe I should get off my phone. These mysterious screens are infinitely more rewarding and engaging than anything in real life. If I'm balls deep in Bleak Falls Barrow and 3 baddies pull up ready to bang, I'ma just have to be like, nah, bro, I'm busy. I feel like I could be at the coolest amusement park on the planet, and if my favorite YouTuber uploaded, I would be more interested in their video. In fact, I have experienced this exact situation firsthand. When I was like 10 or
No, I
11,
wouldn't
my
be like
family
that.
took a trip to Disney World, and I remember absolutely nothing about the attractions. But I do remember being completely miserable the entire time because I wanted to go back to the hotel and watch Captain Sparkles build Jerry's treehouse in Minecraft. This is unfortunately a true story. These video games and the internet that I used
That's
to watch
pretty
other
awful.
people play these games on, it was my entire life. It's all that I thought about. It's all that I did. When I was at school, I would try to come up with my own Minecraft parodies in class. I would make actual to-do lists for what I was going to do in Minecraft that day when I got home. These games and YouTube videos were my escape from reality. They were seemingly my only source of happiness. I had zero interest in doing anything else. I was and still am dopaminergically I'm tired of having a preference for a relationship in which the other person is completely oblivious to my existence. And when I try to detach myself from the internet, when I do try to go outside and touch grass, I find that there's nobody else outside trying to touch grass with me. It's not like there's just a bunch of people outside frolicking the fields waiting for me to go talk to them. When I go out, everyone is in their 40s with kids. Now listen, there's a case to be made for befriending these hot moms, but that's a subject for another video. My generation has some unique issues. The population pyramid that's supposed to look like an actual pyramid is starting to invert. This means that there are less young people. And actually, when I look back on my life and I see when I became chronically online, it was the same time that we moved out of our old neighborhood and into one where there were no other kids around. I went from living directly next door to kids my age to being surrounded by a bunch of retired fossils. All of the friendships I developed due to the close proximity I had with them all fell apart when I moved away, and there were no other kids around for me to be able to establish new connections. Imagine every day you get off the bus and come home to a completely empty house. Mom's at work, dad disappeared 10 years ago, nobody's home, there's nobody to talk to. Of course, I went to the internet and pulled up YouTube. What else was supposed to fill the silence? And inevitably, these YouTubers, in some strange, sad way, became my best friends, despite the fact that they didn't even know I existed. I even sent fan mail to some of these people.
Yeah, that's the parasocialism that's creeping in about it when you try and, especially if you have no one else, like you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult when you don't have anyone else, especially if you have like no siblings either, like around your age. 'Cause if you at least have siblings, then yeah, even it's still a little bit more difficult, but at least you have something to do every so often.
People. I would send them drawings of their game characters and long letters about how much I loved their videos. Now you may be thinking,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe socialization wasn't really an option for you when you were a kid due to your environment. That sucks, but that's something you should be able to grow out of when you get older and get a car. That way you have more access to people in real life. But here's the thing. Growing up online caused me to develop a preference for parasocial relationships. The people I found online, they liked the same things as me and I related to them. I never had to learn how to have a reciprocal relationship with someone. I got all the benefits of having a friendship without any of the investment. I saw a trend on YouTube not long ago of commentaries about why Gen Z are not good friends. And they bring up some good points in these videos, but I feel like something that people leave out is the existence of these parasocial relationships and just access to entertainment in general. If people didn't have access to their favorite content creators or this online entertainment, then they would essentially have to go out and make friends. Because if someone feels lonely without access to the internet, they seek friendship. But if someone feels lonely with access to the internet, they pull up YouTube. The crazy truth is, people don't need friendships anymore to fulfill their social needs. They can get it online. And that's a problem because parasocial relationships are objectively way more convenient than establishing an actual friendship. Parasocial relationships are just fast food for loneliness. One of the major consequences of growing up online is the limitation it places on your ability to find and nurture your natural interests. When you have something as infinitely stimulating as the internet available to you, any inclination towards an interest outside of it will be quickly overridden. As a kid, you may have had affinities towards certain activities. Maybe you wanted to learn how to play piano. What are you, gay? Or maybe you wanted.
I'm not sure if that's the case because with a lot of people, the internet is also just boosted with wanting to learn these hobbies and expand on them and everything like that. So I guess it really depends on the type of person you are, what you're surrounded with, and things like that, what you had to deal with, how you had to grow up, which in Finding Sky's case here sounds like it was a very difficult time. But again, there are other ways around it and everything. But it is an issue because most people have moved more towards the ease of just going on YouTube or going on the internet, TikTok, all that stuff to fill the void type of thing.
Learn how to paint. Your parents may have even bought you some painting materials for Christmas, but unfortunately they also bought you a phone. And that phone happened to be a million times better. Nurturing interests can be hard work. There's a steep learning curve to things like playing an instrument or painting. Learning these things can be very frustrating and challenging, especially in the beginning. But you also develop very valuable and important skills from this. It teaches you lessons on perseverance and persistence. And just like riding a bike, skills that are nurtured in childhood tend to stick with you throughout adulthood. But when you're a kid, you don't know any of that. You just know that screen equals fun and painting equals hard. So when you get bored, you go to the easy activity instead of the hard one. Of course, kids are going to take the path of least resistance. They're little pleasure-seeking creatures. They don't know any better. If this highly stimulating outlet was not available to them, however, the boredom likely would have led them to spend their time actually nurturing their interests or being social. I remember
Mostly, yes.
when I was a very young kid, before I found out that screens were a portal to the alternate universe, I was actually very creative. I would spend most of my day building with Legos, drawing, dancing, and spending time with friends. And then one of them introduced me to Minecraft. And it was over before it began. What do you mean there's a world of infinite Legos? I'm never leaving. When you ask people these days, what do you like to do? More often than not, they're going to respond with a consumption activity. Oh, I like watching Netflix, listening to music, watching sports. Yeah, here's the thing, that's not really a hobby. You're not doing anything. You're just sitting idly while your brain is being passively distracted. These are not activities. They are time fillers. A lot of people these days don't have actual hobbies or interests outside of a screen. They might socialize over the weekend, but even that normally just involves sipping a beer and watching a football game. It's socializing over a screen. And look, I'm not advocating for everyone to try to become the next Van Gogh. I'm not saying you have to pick up some creative.
Well, you keep bringing up playing Minecraft and everything, though. But if you're actually playing a game, then you're not just you're looking at a screen. So if you're talking about just sitting around watching videos, yes, you're making a very valid and perfect point. It's just it was a little confusing how you keep bringing up games, basically. But otherwise, yes, you are you're perfectly making a good point here. That the whole thing of just sitting around watching things. Even my friends and I did this. We would just sit around and watch anime instead of actually doing something like playing a game. But we eventually got back into playing games and things like that. Like we would Kingdom Death and stuff.
Hobby that you take super seriously. But like maybe it would be worth exploring your interests and pursuing them. Try to do something that is actively engaging for your brain and isn't constantly bombarding your reward circuit with
Yes,
dopamine. I want to give
definitely.
you a 3-step process with a very low barrier to entry that really helped me distance myself from screen time. Step 1 is to go to a library or a bookstore and find a book that interests you. This sounds simple enough, but there are some rules for this. Don't go on Amazon and read the reviews. Don't watch a YouTube video about it. Don't go to the internet to help your decision making at all. Just spend an hour at a bookstore, skimming through the titles, reading the backs of books, and pick one that you genuinely find interesting. This is an exploration of your own individual interests without the influence of anybody else's. The second
Books are
step of
good.
this is to delete all of the social media apps off of your phone. YouTube, X, TikTok, Reddit, all of them have to go. That way, if you do instinctively pick up your phone, which you will, the apps aren't sitting there waiting for you to click on them. And when you notice that they're
I
gone,
honestly
it'll
don't
snap
even
you
use
back
my
into the
phone that
mindset of,
much.
oh yeah, I'm trying to
Besides
avoid
as a
these.
phone.
And step 3 is for the rest of the week, you leave this book directly by your phone. And anytime you get the urge to pick up your phone and re-download these apps, you pick up the book instead. Books, especially fiction, are still forms of distraction and entertainment. They're still time fillers, but they're not damaging like screen time is. Reading actively engages your brain and it reestablishes the attention span you've lost after years of doom scrolling. After a couple days, you may find that reading can actually be quite meditative, and your reading sessions won't leave you feeling drained like your doom scrolling sessions usually do. And if you get bored of reading or you don't have the energy to focus on it, just sit there and do nothing. As counterintuitive as it sounds, sitting down and doing nothing is actually more productive than doom scrolling and overloading your brain. People rarely have moments of silence to just sit with themselves and think, and that's not a good thing. Something that I also found while doing this was the natural inclination towards completing
I
tasks that
sometimes
I
have
had
too
at
much
one
time
point
to think to
procrastinated.
myself.
After an hour or so of reading, I would start to get bored, and just instinctively I would get up and start cleaning my room, or go to the gym, or call up a friend. Things that once felt really hard and unnatural when my phone was distracting me became much easier. I wasn't being met with resistance in the same way that I would have when I was compulsively using my phone. A point that I really want to emphasize with this video is that your brain is not broken. Your brain is designed to seek the most amount of reward with the least amount of effort. This isn't a flaw, this is just a part of your natural design. And it's things like the internet, TV shows, video games that are exploiting this design. After enough time, normal activities start to feel really challenging because they are higher investment and lower reward.
Well, it depends on the game. Because, like with Minecraft, it's also a very educational tool. See, that's where I have to. It's a nuance thing. It's too much of something type of thing. Like, yes, too much of doing absolutely nothing, just watching videos of playing games that do nothing for you. Yes.
You're not broken. Your brain's just like, what the heliante? I want to play Dark Souls, and you're making me do homework. The only way to rebalance this investment to reward ratio is to withdraw from those low investment, high reward activities. Doing your work, going to the gym, making and maintaining friendships, these things are all high investment and low reward. You're expending a lot of energy up front for not a lot of immediate gain, but you build up interest by doing this. The results come after months or years of compounding, but you can never get to that point if you don't first withdraw from the immediately rewarding stimulus. You can't watch AI slap for an hour and then expect to do meaningful work. You can't spend 6 hours on YouTube and then expect to want to socialize. Your brain is fried. You are tranquilized off of cheap dopamine. My childhood in many ways was stolen from me. Stolen by screen time that I never knew could have such negative consequences. I can't help but feel like Zoomers are the guinea pigs of a social experiment gone terribly wrong. But just because your childhood has been stolen, don't let it steal the rest of your life.
I don't really know what a zoomer is. I don't think I care. No, definitely some good points though. Screen time should not encompass all of your life. Oh, what time is it? It's 3:32. I've got I think we've got more than 13. Actually, we have less than 30 minutes. Okay, real quickly, we're going to get back to some pirate software stuff. It's not going to be the exact same, though. It's going to be more about his actual game. But it is harmful opinions. So he always...
Disagreements happen sometimes. You don't always have to. In order to save Baron, you'll need to go somewhere I cannot. An elementary school. As much as I've certainly jumped on the pirate software hate bandwagon, and have always been a mild disliker of him, just as a result of being annoyed by this shorts flood, that doesn't override the contrarian streak I have. When there's a strong narrative, when lots of people with lots of reach are all saying the same thing, it motivates me to dig and find a counter to it to share. Very recently, picking at his coding, and in particular his work on the game Heartbound, has been...
You know what? He makes a good point. Sometimes I'll try and do that too. If I see everybody saying one thing about something, I will be like, I don't know. There might have to be something more, might be a counter here. Let me look into this. So, yeah, I am with him on that one.
Hot. I can't engage with any of the code talk, though. It's all Greek to me. What I can do is simply play the game. And I did. The insight I gained from doing this allows me to formulate one defense. It works. Whatever's wrong with his code, whatever bad practices he engages in, the end user seems to be getting what Jason Hall wants them to get. Unfortunately, I would suggest that if the code was so bad the game couldn't be played, that would be better. Heartbound commits the gravest sin in all of game design, and it's guilty of it for a massive chunk of its runtime. Over the last decade or so, an idea has been popularized, particularly amongst our game posers. In its simplest form, the thought is, games don't have to be fun. A version of this I agree with is that they don't all have to be bing bing wahoo dopamine drips. And a game's value isn't just in, out of 10, how fun was it? At the most basic level, the idea is just games can do and be more. Take Papers, Please. It's not unfun, but it is gamified bureaucracy, and it's trying to do something more than give you a good time. Most importantly, it's engaging, which is what I think, if nothing else, a game must be. Some artists, though, got it into their heads that they are above even that. Take Nina Freeman's Cybele, an hour-long autobiographical experience about her meeting a guy online. In it, the MMO grind experience is crudely recreated. And instead of just expressing the tedium of that experience, we are simply given a tedious experience. Not actually creative, not genius and artistically valuable, just boring, unengaging, unforgivable, fart huffing. Pirate Software's Heartbound is guilty of this very same crime. An entire section of this ostensibly somewhat autobiographical game is dedicated to giving you the Nepo Baby experience. You will spend an hour or more if you don't rush it, trapped in a corporation's tower of offices as an intern. Pirate Software needs you to understand how boring this experience is, and he does it by making you bored on purpose. Get it? Real clever, right? Let me see if I can do it. Let me take a shot at this kind of design. Go check in your kitchen. Do you have a bag of rice? Pour it on the floor right now, and then put the grains back one by one. What you're feeling right now? That's sort of what it feels like to miss a bus and have to wait for the next one. We've connected. You know what my weekend was like now. Art. Rubber duck programming reference.
Oh, no.
I do programming. Please laugh. And then do a hidden object fetch quest. Life is Strange came out in 2015, and Find 5 Bottles was ridiculous then. But at least it wasn't trying to torture you. This is something else. This is self-pity being expressed at the expense of someone who's already given £8.50 to the guy. Naturally, as...
Oh my... That is such a good way to explain that. And I've seen someone go over this game. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe I will try it one day. I don't know. Everyone can let me know. We should try that game. But something I've seen expressed plenty of times is that it's like very not engaging.
An intern, at one point, you have to bring a higher-up coffee. And to me, this is almost like anti-art. Showing someone what it's like to do something boring by having them do something boring. Can I just have...
So wait, is this... He said it's like a autobiography. So is this what Pirate Software had to do at Blizzard, basically? He was an intern?
have the job and get paid? Are you capable at all of abstraction? What's your next game going to be about? How hard it is to pick up a heavy rock? Featuring an actual Wi-Fi enabled heavy rock you have to pick up over and over again? Check out my next game. It's called Miscarriage. You won't even know you're playing it until your bleeding wife starts reading out the credits. Just like clean your room instead of playing this. You'll get the same thing out of it and a clean room. There's a video of an old guy I keep getting recommended where apparently he plays Dark Souls and learns the value of games. Give him this next. He'll change his mind. But this is just one section. One of 3, if I'm to believe the world selection, and another of the trio is available in early access. My first impression of Animus, the middle world, was, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that? Welcome to the furry zone. Some animals are more anthropomorphic than others. Their face and
Well, it makes sense because Pirate Software is a furry. Maldavius Fig Tree.
Portions more human. While some praise the detail of the portrait art, I personally, frankly, find them unsettling and disgusting, though this is colored by my awareness of those who are very into such things. I presume this dialogue-heavy area is intended to showcase Pirate's writing chops. I have read hundreds of visual novels, and there's a particular kind that Heartbound reminds me of. Often, you'll see an author get it into their head that their gimmick is gonna be that they make the most complex, interconnected stories. But surprise, the work increase associated with player choice mattering is exponential.
It is an experimental RPG. It is based on player choice. There are thousands of routes in the game, which is not a joke. It is based on your choices. Everything changes based on how you play the game. Everything changes. It is outrageous. It is incredibly difficult to do. It's taken me a long time.
What this seems to do is it warps the creator's perception of pacing. They can see the whole tree. They see how much is there. They know how long they've worked on it. A casual player is going to walk one branch, providing a very different perspective. And in Heartbound, this means the characters come off as being a bit BPD. You want to have big impacts. You want to present big ideas. But to mitigate the mountain of work you provided with this choice-based experience, everything gets squished together on a single given playthrough. And my experience of Animus was that a guy tried to kill me because I didn't want to go hang out with him once. Did everything else he wanted. Played a little Neopets browser game to get him some food. Chased a chicken with a little flapping chode tail. But then she wanted to hang out. The evil voice told me this person I just met doesn't care about me. I said, nah, I got places to be. And apparently that was enough to corrupt and destroy their brain to the point they think friendship is violence. This is the effect you have on others. Very deep. Except all I saw was I didn't hang out with them, so they evaporated and then came back as a ghost at the end of the chapter to try to kill me. Just insane behavior, dude. That's not an emotional moment. That's rabies. The melodrama from guys you've barely met is comical. Here's an armadillo I didn't help enough after he hurt himself digging. You can't just have it be about choices. There has to be something there to make me care about the choices. Choices in and of themselves aren't fucking interesting. Do you want things to be this way? Sure. I don't blame you for what you've done. We don't choose how others remember us. Be the hero of your own story. Even if you weren't the hero of mine.
What the hell?
I already dated an emo girl once in my teens. I don't want to play a game based on those interactions. It is in this chapter as well that Heartbound begins to insist upon itself. Over and over again, these little dudes will pop up to talk to you and tell you over and over and over again that your choices matter, that you are being judged and there are two sides to every coin. You're making decisions, but why? Ooh. There won't need to be any pretentious video essays about what the game means, because it's already in the game. Positives, though. Positives. The WarioWare combat is kind of neat. Each fight, of which I experienced too, is a collection of mini-games. Cute, but for how long they last, there is not enough variety. And where a game like Undertale has a basic system that gets iterated upon, something like this requires true novelty, and Pirate Software just doesn't have it in him. He's already scraping the bottom of the barrel and recycling ideas. Oh. I want to say... It's a... Sorry. If one of your mini-games is click as fast as you can, you've run out of ideas. That's a terrible sign for something like this. Then, the head coming down is just another Ganondorf variation. Come on, man. The music's nice enough, though, but it really has to be because so much of the game is walking through empty spaces listening to it. Oh. This is the start of every horror movie I've ever seen. I mean, like, it's the start of The Descent. I don't really... like, what other ones? Oh, goody, then I get to talk to an armadillo for a couple seconds, and oh, look. And I'm... shit popping up on screen. Calling back to earlier, yeah, you can make people feel bored by making them do something boring. Worst design ever, but technically works. But you can't make someone feel engaged by telling them to engage. You have to actually make something engaging. There's no cheat for that. Most importantly, though, there's a point I have to hammer home about the Animus chapter. This little mole freak does not look like me. Actually, the most important part is I think one of the paths bricks your save. After I finished Animus without fixing a pocket watch I guess you're meant to, the game did that cute closing itself thing. You try to continue and the evil book mocks you over and over again, telling you to forget yourself, with forget being the option in the menu to wipe your save. Maybe you have to just wait, maybe there's something in the files you can change. I didn't care enough. I just wiped my save. You can't change this. You don't have the strength. Just give up. Come on, man. Just give in. You haven't earned this at all. You haven't earned this at all. Not even slightly. Heartbound throws at you over and over again little gimmicks that work in other games without understanding why they work. The game's an embarrassment. And I haven't even talked about the mommy issues boss fight.
Yeah, I heard about that too, that there's a mom issues boss fight, basically. Basically, the main boss of the game is the character's mom or something. Or at least one area. She's like the main boss. It's something, I guess. So let me see. I don't think we have time for everything else, so I think I'll have to end it on that one. But everyone, if you want to let me know if this was a good format, I can do some more editing and customization. Use the studio from now on. We'll see. But yeah, I'm not sure. We might have to. Might have to make some changes or something. We'll see. But I like this overall. We'll use it at least for our general talking reaction type of streams. But I hope you all take care. Have a great rest of whatever it is for you today. And it is time to say goodbye.